Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minecraft Monday, week number 13, as we are live here from the UMG studio. Myself, Lando Sanders, joined in part by Taylor Reflections Noble and 9 Whole Grains. Boys, another week. We've got new game modes. We've got new teams. Thoughts? How are we feeling?
Always excited. I was so sad to miss you guys last week, man. I was gone. Arrow did a great job, though.
Yeah.
Analyst, he knows, like, literally, he's like the Minecraft historian.
He does, yeah.
But it's good to be back. Bring some hype. Maybe, hopefully, help out this week. I know that's always the running joke.
Oh,
Taylor,
yes.
you're going to provide any content this week.
True.
Hopefully, this week I'll be able to do that. But, Nine, how are you feeling?
Feeling like I hope you do. So, no, I'm feeling great again. Unlucky number 13 for one of our teams probably today. I guess most of our teams, if they are trying to win, but had to work in an unlucky 13 joke at some point. But really, there's a lot of fun storylines this week. None the least going to be, can XQC and Moxie repeat? But those answers will be up shortly, we hope.
Yeah, the name of numbers in a day, possibly as well. What, Friday the 13th just happened not long ago?
And it was a full moon, too. It's been like a full moon like the past 3 days. About to get crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know. We might see, I don't know, Chandler and Chris come through and win the whole thing.
I mean, I'll be honest. Chris last week slayed out Technoblade.
He did.
And slay out is a careful term, but he spleefed him.
And then he got himself, too. Nobody could take out Chris except for it's a powerful move, I think.
It was a
get
power
techno
move.
and then get yourself.
Yep. Just total perfect way to go out. I respect that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our game modes coming in for today. As like I said, we have some new ones, maybe some ones that are kind of returning back to the fray. As we've got Hunger Games, One Shot, Find the Button, Spleef, a new mode, Capture the Flag, which we'll be talking about more as the broadcast goes on. Bingo Hunt, TNT Run, Replica, and Hunger Games again at the end. Guys, I'm excited for this one. I think we have some interesting conversations to dive into when it comes down to these modes, which I'm sure we'll be having here in the future. But a little bit of a teaser, especially at the Find the Button course, which is always one of my favorites. It looks as if it's casino themed. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, you guys were screaming casino. Like, I know the producer started it, and then Nine started parroting it. Casino, because we're going to the casino. I'm pumped Find the Button is back. I think, honestly, it's one of those, like, kind of, like, game modes where it doesn't seem like it matters, but there's a huge amount of points that come to it. But I'm pretty pumped up to see it regardless, but I'm sad to see Skywars is gone.
I am too.
Oh, sadness.
It is, though, to be fair, replaced with a new mode, like you were saying, Capture the Flag.
Yep.
We haven't seen that yet. It is making its debut, which means we are going to find out the strategies as they are shown before us. Someone is going to come up with something probably degenerate, but it's going to work, and that's why it's so fun.
Exactly, right? We're going to kind of test the waters a little bit, see how everything is working. Let's go and take a look now at our participants coming in for today. Like we said, it is week 13. Crazy to think about. But, guys, as we look through our first page, right, we see a number of different names. Obviously, the first one we can't really move on until we talk about Technoblade. This week playing with Wilbur, who we got a chance to talk to a little bit last week. He was playing alongside Filza. I know at one point they were actually sitting well in third place and looked to be kind of maybe as a future contender. I know they kind of started to fall off a little bit toward the end of things, but what are our thoughts on Techno this week playing with good old Wilbur Suit?
Well, I believe last week they actually did end up finishing 6th place, did Filza and Wilbur. So I know the running gag is anytime Techno gets a teammate who knows what they're doing, he's always a threat to win it, and sometimes even if that condition isn't met. But I know, again, we saw Wilbur come up with some big plays last time. That's going to be an exciting round for Techno. I know he loves to be in the winner's circle. We'll see if he can come back. But Taylor, Team 2, that is the one that I am interested in.
Yep.
We were talking, Vikkstar has the opportunity to do something very unique, becoming one of the only people to potentially win with 3 different partners.
That's true, right? I mean, and I got to say, Vikkstar is always in the mix. And, Arrow pointed this out last week. And Vikkstar last week, obviously playing with Courage, placed 5th place. And we got to point out his individual score line. He was number 3 at 788 points behind Techno and Moxie. Him being paired with Captain Sparkles this week, who placed 8th in overall score at 626. I got to say that's a deadly duo who could be in the mix of top 3.
Yeah, for sure, right? And obviously kind of rounded out by Chandler and Chris from good old Mr. Beast. For those who have seen Keemstar's tweet, Mr. Beast may have something in the cards for today. Followed up by Symphony and Brooke, who have looked excellent. And, of course, we've got good old Dylan, Dark, and Grande, who are improving every single week. Next page, and there we go. XQC and Moxie, the defending champions, played oh so well last week. They kind of rose to the occasion, if you will, guys. Our thoughts on maybe them defending their title?
Oh, absolutely. I think XQC's coming in hot. You did. I love the interview you had last week. Hopefully,
great.
we're going to have a pregame interview with him, maybe potentially. But I got to say, XQC is bringing the fire. Moxie, you kind of made it a little bit interesting during the pre-talk we had before we went live, and you said Moxie is quickly becoming one of the best players in Minecraft Monday. Last week,
I think he's guaranteed top 2 right now.
Guaranteed top 2, and on top of that, he finished in this overall solo score at 905 points, ahead of Techno at 879. So Moxie is definitely leading the way solo, as well as XQC, a great guy to have by his side.
We can't go too far without talking briefly about Team 10, Jerome and Bayesian. Coming back now is Find the Button. You have to imagine that our most consistent Find the Button team will enjoy that as well. But guys, Wisp on Team 8 had some incredible plays last week, some of the best individual plays we have seen as a whole, teaming with Courage. You have to imagine they're going to make a great run this time as well.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go and take a look at our next page just to make sure we're rounding things. I know we saw Fitz Pokemon, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. What we've also got Ninja and Nestor playing with each other. We saw, obviously, Nestor and Co play last week. We know how talented that they can be, together. But Ninja, right, coming back for a second week. I know finished third it was with Technoblade. Obviously had a fantastic performance. We know Nestor still up to that same caliber in terms of being a top player. Do we maybe have Team 11 possibly on our radar as being a contender for sure? Possibly?
I would say probably maybe top 5, honestly, because Nestor last week finished in top solo score at 6th place at 683 total score. Ninja, he wasn't in top 10, but he finished around 500 or so points. So they could, probably comfortably be sitting in maybe around 1,000 to maybe 1,100 points overall. I put that in top 5. I think they're going to have a solid showing.
I think so, too, and I think that Team 15, you can't look past either. Basti did not participate last week after that dominating performance in which he became a champion. The old teammate Papa Platt coming back here. We'll see if Papa Platt can maybe play up to the level that Aqua was able to take Basti over the top. But we always say, never count out a former champion.
Yeah, right. That's for sure. And speaking of former champions, that will kind of conclude our participants. But I know that we may or may not have XQC and Moxie actually on the phone again. We talked about these guys being defending champions and how hyped they were to win last week. Guys, can you possibly hear me right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes, I hear the mic.
Awesome. Happy to hear it. That's for sure, guys. So talk to me about your strategy coming in for today. Obviously, defending champions, a great moment for you guys, right? Coming in and grinding it out. You go from 4th to 3rd to 2nd and then to 1st. How are we planning on defending that title today?
Moxie, let them know. Let the men know.
I mean, the charts are only looking up from here. I'll be honest. I don't know if you.
Love it.
Well, honestly, we might need to make everyone quit, so there's no teams left.
All right. So the strategy is very simple. It's evolving from being a champion to a 2-timer. This week we become the 2-timer. 2 times back-to-back blockbuster champion.
Oh, not a chance.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's a solid title to hold.
Yep, you're damn right. So this week it's simple. We don't do nothing fancy. Play our game, hold to our strats, teamwork, communication, and we crush them. Yep.
Violence.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Momentum.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, too, really quick, who do you guys feel could be your stiffest competition today? Because I know there's some really talented teams. Obviously, you have to always call out Technoblade, but any roster in particular that kind of sticks off the page to you guys?
Honestly, like when I hold tab and I see all the players, I kind of, like you said, like the players from last week, Technoblade. But to be honest, now that last week the performance was so poor, how they played was so kind of like low quality that at this point, I think we kind of value like Pokemon as like very our best competitor at this point.
Probably for sure.
For sure.
Probably the biggest contender, honestly.
Okay. I like it. Now, last question for you guys: are we going to roll today? Is that the key?
We're gonna roll and
we're gonna smoke them.
Okay, is that the new one? Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, tell you what, best of luck to you guys. Wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll be having this conversation again at the end of the day.
Okay.
Oh, you
Well,
got
excellent. We'll be hearing from you again for sure.
See you there.
Love it.
See you there.
Absolutely love it. Well, like I said, guys, that is XQC and Moxie clearly feeling incredibly confident. And at this point, guys, I think that they have the full-on confidence and the right to feel that way. I mean, literally saying, hey, we will 100% see you at the end, even calling out Technoblade a little bit and whatnot. I love those guys. Whether, obviously, you're a fan of them or not, you have to respect their grind and their ability to always want to improve.
All I got to say, Dr. Disrespect, watch out. Yep. I mean, clearly, XQC and Moxie's coming for the title, baby. You heard them, 2 times blockbuster champion. Yep. the confidence is exuding, right? They are definitely coming to play tonight. And that's what I want to hear, because normally when a team wins, after, grinding for so long, they finally get their, spot at the top.
Sure.
They kind of fall off, right? Their momentum kind of slumps off. XQC and Moxie, though, still very pumped up to play. They're here. They want to win it, and they said they're going to be at that final interview today.
They did. And they said that pretty confidently. And I know, Nine, we were kind of talking as we were looking through our participants list and saying, wow, if this is a team that can contend, this is for sure a team that's going to be up there probably in top 3, top 5, and a number of different rosters that kind of fit the bill. Our thoughts, right now on XQC and Moxie, their confidence, considering that there is a very talented group of guys who could really be up in the mix with them.
There are, but I think that you have to look at them and say they're the favorites, right?
Oh, yeah,
there
I think
haven't
so.
been enough shakeups in the game to say that they won't be able to. They have shown, usually when we see a team come up, it's because of maybe one mode or something like that. These guys have consistently gotten better at every single game mode. And I think that, again, shows you the grind that they have, the confidence they have, throwing superlatives out like it was going out of style, calling the shot. But like you said, a lot of exciting teams. I really am curious about Vicstar and Sparkles. I think they're going to be the second best competition for those two today.
Let's talk about that a little bit, right? Because I think that those two in tandem together is very good, right? We even saw whenever Captain Sparkles played with Beijing Canadian, that was instantly top 3, top 3. We know Vicstar, obviously, as you called it out earlier, 9, has the ability with multiple teammates to win, right? If you were to win today, that'd be 3 titles, 3 different teammates, only person to do that. Technoblade, which obviously holds a lot of weight in the conversation if you really kind of bring him up. But I kind of agree. I think this team, along with XQC and Moxie, what makes them so versatile and also talented and just in general is their ability to be versatile in multiple game modes, right? Like I said, we're kind of bringing some old ones back, maybe taking some maybe even some fan favorites out, at least for now. But that's the thing with both of these lineups is that they continue over multiple games. It's not just about the PvP. It's not just about even just the ability of how to parkour, if you will. They are incredibly well-versed and well-rounded when it comes into multiple things, which could allow for them to be the the top 2 for today.
Yeah, and I think, on that same line, one of the things that we haven't really even gotten to talk about is just how skilled some of these individual players are. Like, we've almost skipped over the fact that Nestor and Wisp in their first week at times looked like they couldn't be beaten. There were moments where you're like, how did these guys lose a game mode again?
Right.
But they've been split up again, I guess preemptively stopping what could have been a dynastic run. But again, when you do team up, we always say that there are those players and teams that have the opportunity to play spoiler, to be the silent killer, to come up there. And we've seen those players who have the ability to go 1v2. Nestor, Wisp, Travs, who are all on teams with, maybe partners that don't necessarily put them in the top 2 or 3 teams, but you have to watch out for that as well, especially in the PvP modes.
I was really sad to hear, because last week I didn't get a chance to, kind of catch Wisp and Nestero, because they played very well, but this week they're broken up, and I wanted to see them kind of as a duo again. Obviously, second place last week behind that of Moxie and XQC, but switching it up is kind of the Minecraft, at least Minecraft Monday way.
Sure.
But I do have my top 5 solidified, and I think top 5 is going to be, and I will do it in order as to how I see fit. So
how many points exactly? No, I'm not going to ask you.
Stop. Now you're getting too crazy.
I am. I asked too much.
Let's see this.
All right, so I've got Moxie XQC actually taken first. I really do. I think the momentum is going to carry through, right? I mean, they won last week by nearly 300
just right over
points.
your shoulder.
I'm making sure he's not lying.
No, I'm not. Well, look, my order here is a little messed up, so I'm going to kind of improvise.
Okay.
Number
Chat,
one,
remember, chat, make sure that we're remembering this right now, because if it actually does happen, we need to be aware.
It's going to happen.
Okay. All right.
Moxie XQC first place.
Gotcha.
Second place, Sparkles and Vicstar.
Okay.
Third place, tried and true, we're going to have the Marome, right? We're going to have Jerome, Beijing Canadian. I think they're getting third. Techno actually is going to get fourth place with Wilbur. And then fifth place is going to be Ninja and Asterio.
That's not. I'll say I don't disagree with the teams that are involved in the top 5. I will say
the order is okay.
The order I think could be a little bit changed up, and
fair.
that's obviously depending on who you talk to. I gotta say, Technoblade and Wilbur are a little bit low, at least in my eyes. I think that they maybe a little more talented than we think.
But come on, is that one of the closest predictions I've had as of yet?
It is.
Thank you.
Considering
I don't know yet. It hasn't happened yet. We don't know. What are you saying? It's one of the
Top
closest.
9.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
It's
assuming
certainly thorough.
that's one of his first predictions, so it has to be one of his
Yeah,
best.
he
right?
stuck his neck out there. I will honor that. I still am a little
Whatever.
surprised that you did not.
Travs.
Well, that is a wrench in the system, as they say. But I'm a little surprised you didn't put Papa Blott and Basti up there. The last time those two competed, they got top 5.
Oh,
so.
I overlooked that actually. Yeah, you're right.
Well, it does go to show how many skilled players there are in this tournament, and we see one of them on our screen right now. Moxie had some of the most clutch moments in Minecraft Monday history last week.
Yeah.
And trying to make it happen again this week.
Oh, for sure, right? That's going to be their mentality. And the one thing that I remember hearing from them, kind of going back and watching their VODs, and from the way that they talked, it's all about the importance of starting off well early, right? Getting this first Hunger Games out of the way is going to be very key for that, and then kind of swing on that momentum. It would only really kind of help them throughout the rest of the match. If they were to kind of slow up from time to time, hey, at least we won Hunger Games, or at least we had a dominant form when it came down to Hunger Games. And like I said, speaking of that mode, they actually won this exact one in Game 1 last week, so they're looking to repeat in multiple facets as well.
So talk to me about Courage, guys, because Courage, love the guy. We've obviously been following for quite some time.
Sure,
but
yeah.
Minecraft, we know he's been grinding it out, as of recently on his, not only in his Twitch, but YouTube videos too. But did he play well last week? How did he do, honestly?
I'm impressed.
I was
really.
too. I was genuinely impressed. He also managed to steal in bingo, which is a fantastic thing.
He
Managed
did.
to steal some bricks from somebody else's oven and then had a good chuckle about it. But again, I too was very impressed. Certainly something, and we see the players that come from the other games can learn this kind of stuff very, very quickly. So I think once again, having Wisp on his team, I think, he's top 5 and it's only Minecraft Monday, guys. He is always top 5. That's a fact.
First engagement. No, Brooke, I was just about to talk about you. Well, I guess now it gives me an opportunity as Symphony drops. That's heartbreaking. And XQC Moxie, though, it's kind of bittersweet, right? Because I wanted to see them, come through, get those elims, start off hot and heavy. We saw the confidence coming through them in that pre-interview. But I was happy with Brooke and Symphony last week. 7th place.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. They keep improving.
Yeah, definitely not, right? I know we kind of go from one perspective to the next. Fitz and Pokimane, another duo that's kind of been playing a lot of Minecraft as of recent, for those who have watched Pokimane as of recent. And we talk about duos, Vicstar, James Charles, at one time teammates, now maybe somewhat of mortal enemies. As there we go, player after player falling. And I got to say, it's definitely somewhat surprising to see, teams dropping, but it's not surprising to see who's on the other end of those things. We talk about Vicstar, we talk about Techno, Moxie, XQC. These are teams that we have in our top 5 discussion. So them kind of already out of the gates hot is definitely not to be thought otherwise. But it looks as if Courage and Wisp maybe had some sort of an engagement lined up, and you see it's actually going to be XQC and Moxie who are on the other end of that.
Yeah.
And this looks to be a pretty interesting jaunt. I don't think we see any Ender Pearls directly inside of that inventory for Moxie, so it seems to be a decent chase, a decent venture, if you will.
I'm kind of a little bit worried, though, the armor isn't as good as you would like for Courage, as Technoblade does take out Papa Platt, right? That is something we need to be talking about. You mentioned it, 9. Papa Platt, Basti, right? Competing once again, clearly a top team. Losing Papa Platt early on, that's going to be tough for Basti.
Yeah, we talked about it so often. That really does hamstring your ability to score big. And now, can you imagine if they take out Vicstar? They need to be focusing one heart, and I think fall damage actually got Vicstar.
Wow.
And Courage gets the elim on Sparkles.
That's
so
crazy.
That is, and that just goes to show you Courage playing alongside these good players is learning so quickly and providing great support.
So that's actually one thing Courage is really good at, and I give him credit for that. I mean, you look at the beginning whenever Fortnite first came out, Courage transitioned from Call of Duty over to Fortnite. He ended up being a top-level player, at least in the beginning, specifically during Friday Fortnite and a couple of other competitions. But I got to say, I'm looking out for him, but as we do see, he does get dropped along with Whispers. So XQC Moxie continue their reign of terror. That's at least 2 guaranteed teams I've seen them get. They may have maybe got one more off camera, but with that being said, that is surprising. Vicstar, Captain Sparkles losing their lives this early on definitely hurts.
Yeah, it definitely does, right? To get taken out of that situation early is always going to sting, as there goes Basti, as Nestorio and Ninja will live on. And it looks as if that will be Nestorio possibly grabbing a little bit of extra HP along with Ninja, just trying to regroup and kind of sit on the amount of items that they just grabbed while also being aware of those flanks. We'll go and pull up the multicam just to make sure exactly who could be around the area. And speaking of area, Technoblade sitting firmly inside of middle to our really no surprise whatsoever. Chest refilled, happens to be there, already has enchantments, and also has some Ender Pearls, which we know can always come in clutch.
Well kitted up, and it's kind of a broken record, right? Technoblade being in the middle right as this happens, and we've played on this map now enough to really understand the flow of it. You get all these chests once they become refilled, and you also get first crack at that enchantment table which is a big deal and why it's the most important. We saw that Techno had the best gear based on the numbers on the side. Now look who has the best. His teammate. So that bodes pretty well, I'd say, Taylor.
Oh, absolutely, right? Now you got to be thinking Techno loves to lock down this middle section. He doesn't want anybody else to have access to that enchantment table, so they're going to have to fight, especially if they push through. And one team that I am thinking is going to be pushing through relatively soon is going to be XQC and Moxie. You know they're going to want to get to that enchantment table. That could be an explosive fight.
Oh, yeah.
Especially given the fact that we still have,
Here
what,
it is.
7 teams remaining.
Explosive. Very, very timely with
I
the,
love that.
with that. So that's actually going to be Nestor and Mr. Beast, and or I'm sorry, not Mr. Beast, Ninja, whose tag is Ninja Loves Mr. Beast.
It's close. It's
But
close.
I don't think that, they weren't able to heal there after that fight, so it's not often that we see a team run out of food in the middle of all this, but you see now it does look like they were able to get healed up. And this is the moment where it's very easy to make too hasty of a play here. We see Techno moving out. Needs to be careful that they don't get 3P'd. It seems like that happens an awful lot on this map.
Looks to be the case. Here we go. TNT explosives, and an unfortunate little chicken has to be somewhat administered to the fight that we have going on right now. A lovely seat, much as we have, as Moxie, XQC look to be out of the gates early as engagements begin to form. Here we go. Nestorio, everybody in the mix as Techno manages to just escape. However, not enough. There we have it. Nestorio makes him fall, and now Wilbur is left all alone. A few more hearts, but you notice here comes the 3P. Moxie, XQC, wonderful play as the Ender Pearl gets rocked right into
has 10 of
Nestorio's
them.
back and continuing to move on. Like you said, a ton of resources, ultimate mobility, and it looks as if it will be Wilbur who's trying to escape, but or rather Ninja tries to make chase, but for not much longer. Very well played. We talked about XQC and Moxie. They look to be in a horrible spot. Then they manage to stay alive. They go for the 3P, and they are pretty much still standing after 2 Titan-like rosters drop.
Best gear, top score, most elims. Moxie is totally dominating this first Hunger Games here on Wyvern. Phenomenal stuff from him. The fact that he had so many Ender Pros, he used 5 in that engagement alone. 5. I can't even think of the last time that we saw a player with 5 Ender Pros. He had 10 of them. Are you kidding me?
Remarkable stuff. And, we said it. And like I said, we've seen this so often where a team that is holding down mid goes a little bit too aggressively after someone gets 3P'd. We called it out. We said it often happens. And what happens? That exact thing. Techno chases after 1. They slow down a little bit to try to get their footing after the team runs away. They get attacked from behind. Techno had lost half his HP before he even got to turn around and start swinging the other way. So again, getting to the middle, not always the most important thing as much as holding it solidly and letting some of those other teams fight themselves. The experience of XQC and Moxie going to pay off for them there.
Yeah, definitely seems to be the case. It looks as if Grape Applesauce will make up for, unfortunately, Valkyrie's already early drop. So, or rather, Valkyrie, apologies for that one. But still, good hold for them. But like you said, XQC and Moxie, wonderful play in the clutch. As now, I will say, right, when we did say goodbye, right, to Ninja and Co., to Technoblade and Co., it's interesting because there are still, at that time, 5-6 teams still up for the grabs, and that's a lot of points that they could muster up, and this will only help XQC and Moxie. Teams like Team Rome as well distance themselves, but how do the engagements begin to form? As you notice, Beige and Jerome pretty much on the outer banks get a quick little gander at who happens to be inside a middle, and I think they were justified. And based off that result, they will, in fact, back up for the moment as XQC and Moxie continue to feast upon the resources that they've gained.
It's always horrifying when you see somebody with an enchanted diamond sword and then see that they don't have the best gear on their own team. It's
Pretty scary, right?
I too would run for these houses if I were Team Rome. Get the survival points here. Get yourself to at least 2nd place and salvage something, because I don't think they've been in on too many elims since the start of that either.
No, they haven't, right? And you got to be thinking these final few fights are definitely going to be one-sided. XQC and Moxie are kitted up very, very well. If they win this first Hunger Games, man, it's going to be scary for the rest of the tournament. Only 3 teams remain. An engagement going down. Some shots are going to be fired, and Beijing Canadian onto the back of 1. He's going to get a couple of hits. Arrows to come out. Does miss at least the first one, but connects on the second. Raccoon Eggs. We'll be seeing you later.
But here comes the fight. This is the one that we were all discussing. Team Rome, are they well kitted enough? It looks as if not at all the case. Plenty of Ender Pearls to spare as he dives through the flames. Lovely, lovely work from Moxie and XQC as they pick up right from where they left off. A dominant performance in which they were involved in every single fight that really meant a lot to this game. We talked about how their ability to three-peat, right? Their ability to get involved back in the fight exactly when they needed to was oh so influential. And this guy, Moxie, I tell you what, obviously alongside XQC, they looked fantastic. And at any moment where we began to question them, they made the right play. They backed up. They engaged when necessary. And you see, this is the attack where they come from the mountainside. Along with the Ender Pearls, always leads to a great success rate. But my goodness, guys, what a solid and dominant performance off the rip from our defending champions.
That's probably one of the most dominating performances I've seen in Hunger Games from XQC and Moxie. Minus last week, which I didn't get to catch, but regardless, I got to say, they slayed out the entire time. For the longest time, the top score, most elims, best gear was Moxie, only to then be traded off, XQC being the best geared up. But look at the scoreline, 156 to 76. That's probably one of the most dominant performances we have seen, along with score gap from just the first game alone. Bayesian Canadian and Jerome in second at 76. We're looking at just nearly, it's 80 points exactly, but it could easily have been 100. As we head into, of course, one shot, they're good at that game too. Moxie and XQC,
They won it last week.
so they could take a huge lead here.
Oh, yeah.
Two second places and then a first place in the 3 rounds of one shot that we've played. So you have to imagine they are favorites here. But, you know, between all those snowballs, eggs, and ender pearls, can we check Moxie's shoulder? Like, that shoulder's sore after throwing all of those circular.
The ender pearls.
Yeah.
Oh, my
10.
goodness.
He used all 10.
It's insane. I've never seen anybody have that many, at least in Hunger Games. Like, I have never seen anybody, unless I just wasn't paying attention, could be. But regardless, though, 10 of them is absolutely insane.
And the usage that they got as well, like the usage rate of utilizing all 10. And, you know, granted, you could say, oh, well, he didn't have to use this particular one. But still, just the idea that he had 10 and made them kind of worth his while, if you will, is not all that shocking that he ends up finding a ton of elims kind of at the end of this. But still, I think, like I said, kind of shifting the conversation now toward what will be game 2 and on one shot. Like I said, I mean, Nine called it out very well, right? Constant top placements, obviously winning last week. They have to be one of the favorites. And I know, too, as we're going to hop into this, I know there are a few settings that they've changed and worked on that allow for themselves to see hitboxes, which is what XQC has been utilizing. And Arrow kind of gave us a decent insight onto why that is. Obviously, you can kind of see the way that the arrows travel and whatnot. So they've done their homework. And this is one thing that I find so fascinating is that they know exactly how this game mode works. They're familiar with what really is the call. And it's going to be a stretch to see if anybody can really compete with them.
They've got it.
Have we not seen a transformation of XQC over the weeks, right? At the beginning, he was chaotic. He was calling out like crazy. Now he's just calm. He's poised. He's collected. He's focused. There has been a huge shift in his demeanor throughout the entire weeks.
There absolutely has. And I mean, this is his mode too, right? This is, if you could think of something that would play to his skill set, this would certainly be the mode. Someone else that we know tends to perform very well here. Techno does get taken down as we say it, but keep an eye there on the top right. If you are not familiar, it is a race to 40 right now. I know XQC and Moxie were above this mark right now, and these are usually the two teams that we see go against each other, but this is going to be important as we see Jerome behind him there.
Ooh.
Does get still. Oh, sneaky. Okay, sicko mode. So we also kind of seen the strategy of sticking with your teammates so that if one does miss, you do get a second chance. Because unlike some other modes, you don't really get the opportunity to reload and fire again if you miss. You're kind of at the mercy of the opponent.
Yeah, you really are. Like kind of that ability to trade, as we talk about it in other esports shooters specifically, right? The bait and switch conversation as well is always going to be big. Let's go and take a look right now at Pokimane, right? Her first ever Minecraft Monday. It's going to be awesome to see exactly how she gets involved in the fray, and unfortunately trying to get an arrow out. Is she ready to go? It looks as if she's primed and ready to at least go for the escape, which is never a bad option.
Yeah, good to see Pokimane here playing for Minecraft Monday. Has she ever played in a Friday Fortnite? I want to say she has in the past potentially, but the fact is she's talented in multiple genres, multiple games as well. And I got to say, she's playing a very sneaky role, isn't she? She's like all the way in the back trying to get on the flank of a couple players instead of taking the fight to them, but could be working, but I got to say, no one's around her. Oh, she got sniped.
Good job.
Very congratulatory. I like
know,
it.
Right? It's so funny to me just because it's like a matter of we'll go from, crazy communication to all around hype, and then you just see, Pokemon just saying like, "Oh, great job, good work." I just love the dynamic that Minecraft Monday provides. You never know who's really going to be on the perspective. The amount of personalities that we have, I think, is so good.
All right, Techno just missed against me. I'm not even gonna.
Right, 23 right now for Captain Sparkles. So, and 13 specifically, I believe this is the highest individual number that we have seen here. So this was a team, we weren't really happy with the way that Vicstar and Sparkles played in that first round. So this would be a great chance for them to get themselves back in. You can see on the score counter in the bottom left, as it goes up, each one of these elims is worth numbers. So sometimes even if you don't get the win, as long as you get in that 35, 36 range, you can at least bring yourself back to having a fighting chance for going for that podium.
Right, I mean, going for the max amount of score for any type of game that you play is obviously the way to go about it. And I got to say, it looks as if Captain Sparkles has been struggling a little bit. I haven't seen him get one elim as of yet. He's constantly getting peppered with arrows, and that's got to be tough, right? And I think when we at least turned on to him, he was at, what, 24?
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Look
and this
at
is
this.
the thing you
There it is.
talked about. 40. Captain Sparkles and Vicstar were only at 26.
Was anyone else even at 30?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is their mode. Like, this is probably. And I think this has to be their best mode, I think, officially. Like, as we go from week to week, obviously you can talk about different ones, but by far their most consistent one where they're at the top, at least in top 2. I mean, we're going on 4 weeks where they're in the top 2, and if not winning at all, these guys are unbelievable. When we talk about their consistency at the end, it's the hype. You can see what it means to them to get off to a hot start there, Knight.
Well, and as you look over the weeks, too, the only reasons that they got second is because one of those weeks, Techno had 32 by himself, and the next week, Preston had 31 by himself. So, again, it takes incredible, outstanding individual performances, whereas with Moxie and XQC, it's both of them, and that's why they are so consistent and so excited to get that win.
That's true. I mean, whenever you have players that are consistently in top 10 and individual scoreline alone, you put them together, they're going to dominate. Now the question is, how much of a lead are they going to have? And what a lead. Nearly 150, 160 points from that of second place of Asian Canadian and Jerome. Moxie XQC, they weren't lying in the interview. They're coming for Dr. Disrespect's position right there, going for the two-time champion back-to-back. And it's looking as if they might be able to do that.
Yeah, like I said, already distancing themselves. And obviously we talked about it as a minor score differential, but considering the points that have been allocated up to this point, you're looking at 2 games and you're saying, hey, the enemy has double, right? The enemy has double what second place has, generally, not exactly, but still. It's going to be fun to watch exactly how they kind of transition into Find the Button. Now, previously when we've watched Find the Button, this is where the scores start to get hectic. If you were playing, somewhat inconsistent, if you weren't really on the board, now is your time to really enter in toward that top 10, if not top 5, et cetera, et cetera. So I think this is still an important factor for XQC and Moxie, not only just to be consistent, but if they can still be in like that top 3, I think that their first place is safe until further notice. But if they were to slow up a little bit, despite that progression, despite dominant performances in Game 1 and Game 2, that lead can rather start to falter a little.
It's true. Now, this is going to be the game mode, right, where I think we're really going to see the Jerome duo come out. Asian Canadian, right? We know he is great when it comes to Find the Button, and previously we've seen him gain a tremendous score from this game mode alone. So them being in second place, being down 200, they might be able to close the gap if, let's say, Moxie XQC, maybe they don't perform as well. But one guy I'm very curious to see play this is, in fact, going to be Ninja. How good is he at finding some players? And already he's saying he doesn't know what's going on, so that's not a good start, right? You got to be thinking.
Well, the concept is simple enough, right? Find the button, push the button, and that's the button first. So Ninja clearly took a little minute to get there, but I think this is, again, another mode once you get familiar with how you can move around, once you get familiar with the different types of buttons that there can be and where they could possibly be hidden, there tends to be a pattern to it, and I think he's catching on.
I think he is, right? And obviously, the one big factor that we talk about with Ninja and his kind of competitive gaming career has been his ability to adapt, right? And obviously, when it came down to early Fortnite competitions, Taylor, we got to watch Ninja play, and it really wasn't just Fortnite, right? It was a matter of being consistent in PUBG, being consistent in Apex Legends, H1Z1. I mean, all of these major, BR titles, he has always been the guy who has adapted so well. And for me, it's not unbelievably surprising the way that he has continued to perform over time. And Look at that. He's finding buttons out the wazoo. He's getting almost overwhelmed by the amount of score he's gaining right now.
That's crazy, right? He actually clicked them twice. He got so excited. But always good to see, you know, our consistent competitors being out here. James Charles on your screen. And, man, he is doing well. He's already found a couple of buttons himself, going for another Ender Pearl up. You could only imagine there's not been – well, I guess people have been up here. I thought he was hitting like a secret area. Yeah, Captain Sparkles is already there. Because you get a bonus for every point you find, or every button you find, rather, right?
Wow.
The first one. So you might want to hit up those areas, like that left object that's just off to his left, or now his right.
air balloon?
I think it's a hot air balloon.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
be going over to that.
Well, and there is a legitimate strategy to going to a remote place by yourself. We have seen Beijing Canadian use that strategy. Maybe only got 10 buttons out of the deal, but got all of the points for being the first person to find it. And it's a big, big deal in doing so. And this was not what we were hoping for.
Oh, no, this is not a good play. This is not a great situation, James. Escape. There we go. Out of the fray for now, but definitely needs to maybe get back to the camp and start gaining some buttons. But still, like we said, a very competitive game up to this point. I know we're kind of visiting multiple screens kind of all around that same situation in terms of button count, but like we said, Vicstar, always a consistent guy, right? Him and Captain Sparkles playing this week together have got to be one of the front lines, but the fact that they're progressing the way that they are and kind of on this water slide, it looks as if Vic's hitting a ton of buttons that maybe no one's really explored as of yet.
No, and it's very easy to miss one of these, too, as you're jumping around. But look at the focus. Vic hasn't blinked in like a minute. This is great.
Oh, no!
I don't think going to have to go all the way back up there. But again, the water slide, picking a structure and then just opting to go there and get all the buttons that you can. I think that is the strategy, especially on a map like this where it's more wide open and not as many buildings.
I think that's the way to go about it, too. I feel too many players get so wrapped up in just trying to explore so many areas as quickly as they can. But it's like, if you go like this water fountain right there, or this waterfall, whatever we want to call it, water slide, if you just consistently work your way up, you're going to find all of those buttons. Then you can maybe switch over to something else like a building, right? But I think this is probably your best choice to go about it. But he has found a ton of buttons just in this location alone. But one guy that I do want to know about, right, Beijing Canadian, the Marome duo, how is he doing and what is his overall score? Current score, 48. That's his at least personal, right? He's got a total of 186. Total team score of 352. Not bad.
Yeah, definitely not bad, right? I mean, they are in that conversation, and we always talk about the Marome duo, right? They are kind of always in, or rather on the podium, right? Second places, third place finishes, they are always kind of in the mix. I do say that kind of with a grain of salt, right? Because I know they finished fourth last week, but this is the team, right, who always has succeeded at this mode. So I think, you know, this is kind of their moment, right? If they really want to try to be incredibly competitive, stay at the top of the fray, this is the mode to really do it in here, 9.
It is, and like we've seen, if one of them, I know that their score is a little lower right now than some of the others we've seen, just now hitting 25, as Moxie and XQC are at 50.
What?
But again, if they go on the slide, we've seen at least 10 buttons are on that slide. So sometimes it's just a matter of finding the place first, and maybe now might be a good time to start following Moxie and XQC around. If I'm them, like,
honestly,
they're finding an awful lot. I might.
Okay, Sparkles and Vic.
There you
They've got
go.
50.
Yeah, okay.
But remember, it's also a matter, too, are you the one who's finding the button first,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So
true.
that makes a huge difference. So even though we could be seeing these players at 50 buttons as we are, doesn't mean that they might be leading the way. So we'll pay attention, right? Total score currently 380. We'll switch over to somebody else, over to Moxie now, who just hit 50. My goodness, they're at 694. Maybe they are killing it.
Yeah.
694, 50 buttons. That's nearly double the score of Marome.
Yeah, they're rolling, as I was trying to get out of them earlier on. But like I said, these guys just incredibly consistent from title. Oh, what a press. Okay, Moxie. For the folks at home, just putting on performances, even in Find the Button. We have our highlights, right? But still, these guys, they're roaming. They're doing everything necessary. And like I said, this is the problem for multiple teams. It's like, hey, you really need to have Moxie and XQC have an off game. You need to maybe catch them off guard, maybe really try to capitalize when they are at their worst. And like I said, that isn't happening for these guys. They are not having a worse type mentality. Like I said, we don't know necessarily if they're in first place and Find the Button. They're absolutely a contender because I know we haven't visited every screen. But as long as they continue to be in this conversation of top players, top teams, they will win this week.
They will, and again, we've talked so much about how many points you can get from this. If they manage to push their lead even further, like let's say that it's a 300 point after this lead, guys, these other modes don't offer nearly as many points as this. I don't want to say that it could be over after this, but you would need a major collapse to them like you were saying, and they really haven't come close to any sort of collapse yet.
Let's switch over now and see, really, can anybody get to this point? We see, what, 51 here, so possibly the rosters could be forming, right? Obviously, Nestorio and co. looking to grab everything they can, right? Trying to find as many unique buttons as possible, right? That kind of is the major call, right? Is to, as you called it, Taylor, right? To find the unique buttons, not necessarily find the same ones. Overall button count is important, but it's about the quality of those buttons that makes everything else so special. And we talked about for this week, right, kind of a casino theme, if you will. 222 possible options, which definitely allows for a lot of creativity, a lot of unique opportunity. And we'll see if this particular team, along with XQC and Moxie, if anyone can really contend them for the top spot.
I don't know. It's going to be tough, right? I mean, they're only sitting at 479, and they were over on 70, or 700, rather, for XQC and Moxie. But I will say, though, Nestorio as well, or Ray Nestorio. I want to deem him Ray Nestorio.
Oh, I like
that. Make that joke
619.
yet. There you go. Hey,
Booyaka, baby.
I'm bringing the jokes, bringing the fuego, baby. But I got to say, they're doing pretty well, but it's not looking too promising for Zerka, only at 313. They could potentially be missing out on 400 points. Well, they already are missing out on 400 points from XQC and Moxie, right? That's tough.
It is tough, and again, getting to the 50-cent button, that does not mean nearly as much as it used to back in the old days where we saw winning scores sometimes be 30 buttons, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal, and it does look like out of Ender Pearls right now, too. So great job hopping over there. But again, already finding these buttons, I think you got to move on from this building.
Yeah, I think you have to. I know he's having an issue. I think maybe on a slab, just a little bit of a higher jump than needed. And if he would have had those Ender Pearls, who knows what could have occurred. But like I said, Zerka, Mazinga, looking for some keys, looking for some unique ones, that's for sure. As some rosters begin to fall out of the fold, right? 1 minute, 45 seconds on the clock. Now is when it begins to be intense.
Do we think anybody will hit 100?
I think it's possible. I really do.
100 total buttons?
Yeah. Well, there's 222.
Well, that
It's
is true.
possible.
We haven't
it's
seen
possible.
100 yet.
No, we haven't.
93, I think.
I think, yes. That
was Marome.
But this is still 222 buttons, so it's still finding less than half of the buttons to get to that mark. I think this is the top mark right now with 77, but a minute left. That's going to be a lot of work to do.
I can't go there.
Seem like some on the beach starting to already hit some of the same buttons that they have found in the past. It's looking difficult. 93 might stay as our best score.
But the fact that they're at 798 score, the fact that they are at least getting this close to 1,000 points, 1,000 points? Are you kidding me? Last week, right, Moxie SQC, they had an impressive 1663 at the final score when they finished, but they're about to. Oh, no. They're about to reach 1,000 potentially, but 37 seconds, that's insane. They're at 82.
This is remarkable. And again, guys, we might have to start having the conversation. The score that we never thought anybody would beat, 1,892, the current top score that was set by Techno and Filza. If they get to 1,000 in 3 games, that record's going to get blown out of the water.
Yeah.
It surely has to, right? I mean, like I said, these are some of their best modes, and obviously find the button, one that generates a ton of score, could be the perfect recipe for success. As here we go, 4, 3, last few seconds. Can they find any excess buttons? And it looks as if it will be in and out at 87. And it was Captain Sparkles and Vicstar who had just 2 more than them, 89 to 87. So, like we said, our big kind of talking point was, could they be dethroned? They do, but they're just 2 buttons rather behind.
So buttons behind, but overall score. That's the question,
that's
right?
true.
Because XQC and Moxie, they had 842 score, and I didn't see anybody that close to them. But you got to imagine, right, Marome, it's no surprise that
Sure.
they did so incredibly well. But I'm curious to see that score line because we knew they had nearly 200-point lead over that of second place of Marome. Now, where are they going to be sitting? 9. Talk to me about the scoreboard.
Well, you see right there, still 200 points, and a team we didn't talk about a lot, Nestorio and Ninja right there, had to have gotten some of the quality buttons, as you have been calling it right there, to jump a lot of different teams, but still over 200 points. You can look there, 2nd through 6th place, still very close to each other, but right now, it's a one-horse race at this time. This was the time that teams needed to be able to overtake them. They did not give them the opportunity, as we're now through 3 games.
Interesting to see that Nestorio Ninja do take second, right? You got to be thinking they moved up quite a bit. Because going into that game, they were sitting at least in 4th, but I mean, they were nearly down 200 points of that of first. But the fact now that they are in 2nd is promising to say the least. But with that being said, though, Beijing Canadian Jerome still in that 3rd place, but a nice size lead for Moxie SQC. They got to be feeling confident. Now you got to be thinking, can anybody pass them?
Yeah, that's true, right? Can anyone really pass these guys the way they've been playing as of recent? But I think we do. Right after Game 3, have some familiar fellows on the mic. I think we've got Zerka and Bazinga. Guys, how's it going?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Doing very well, doing very well. Great to kind of chat with you guys kind of in the midst of the matches that are going on right now. Obviously, you just had Find the Button. How did that work out for you guys? I think I heard Zerka at one point saying, gosh, I've missed so many buttons. How was the game going for you?
I like to think that's probably one of the events throughout this Minecraft Monday that we've performed well in. And I'm not sure it's going to get much better than that. I think we've reached our peak.
I actually had an awful time. I got stuck in an entire building of water. I got trapped to get reset.
I think we saw the same thing. I think James Charles at one point was like stuck in the inner workings of a coaster. I don't know exactly how it all formed, but
well.
yeah, definitely not. But hey, like I said, kind of looking forward right at the next 6 games. How are we feeling? Or is there any game that we're looking at in particular to really kind of rise? And you guys said maybe you've already hit your peak, but who knows? Is there one out there that you guys are eyeing out?
I think we're just hoping. Go on.
I think I'd do Replica well. I think this week. However, Josh, what do you think we're trying to do?
I think Spleef and TNT Run, we have a chance. It doesn't require us to do any PvP battles. I think that's where our downfall comes. So I think anything where it's like Spleef and TNT Run, where we can just kind of like luck our way to the win, I think that's possible.
Now, last week, I remember, I think, Bazinga, you said that you were eyeing out pretty much just trying to overtake Courage. Is Courage still the main target?
Points ahead of him, baby! Let's go!
Love to hear. I was going to say, I think that I think that confirms it for me. But like I said, great to talk to you guys. Only wish you the best throughout the rest of today, and hopefully we'll be chatting again here soon.
Thank you.
All right, sounds great. Thank you guys so much. And like I said, thank you all for tuning in so far throughout Minecraft Monday. We're going to go and throw it to a quick little break, but when we return, it is time for some more awesome Minecraft action. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Minecraft Monday, week number 13, as we are live here from the UMG studio. Myself, Landon Lano Sanders, joined in part by Taylor Reflections Noble and 9 Whole Grains. Guys, we are 3 games in, XQC and Moxie, to maybe some people's perspective are in the lead. And like I said, it's not really that much of a surprise, but the lead that they are up by is incredibly vast and also impressive.
It is, right? I mean, you got to be thinking they're sitting at 842. Meanwhile, second place is at 603.
Yeah.
603. That's 200 in like what? 39-point lead. It's absolutely insanity.
It is insane. And again, that was maybe the big mode where you could gain a lot of points on them too. After this, we have Bingo. We know that Bingo isn't a mode where you can make up a ton. We know that Moxie and XQC tend to perform well here. We have Replica as well, but we're starting to run out of modes that you could reasonably keep them from scoring points. So again, as long as they take care of business, this is going to be a very difficult lead to make our way back from as we start off into Spleef, where we saw some heroics last year by some last week rather, from some unlikely sources.
Yeah, we definitely did, right? Are you referencing someone in particular?
A few. A few, but yes, of course, Chris O2 getting the win over Technoblade at the very, very end, and then knocking himself right off. So, again, there's always something fun going on here in Spleef, always a new strategy, and it looks like XQC, these lungers have been added now as well, so something a little interesting there, it looks like. Or is that a timer for something?
I think it's a cooldown timer, right?
Interesting. I like that.
Oh no, XQC taken down just from behind. And at this point, I think any team will take any advantage that they can get, regardless of the mode, regardless of the points. Any advantages, they are primed and ready to go for. It looks as if Captain Sparkle's still hanging on the top layer. And we notice from week to week, I feel like more players still are hanging out on this top for as long as possible. I know, I think a lot of players are beginning to kind of get the idea, as unfortunately Technoblade caught up on that top layer and brought down to pretty much everyone's same position as players are quickly on the front. As he, I think, will manage to get out of dodge for now.
Interesting, you know, like you mentioned before, Nine, that Lunger being added with the 20-second cooldown, it really makes you think about using it, and Courage goes straight down. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to use his Lunger. He had used it just previously, but that makes, you know, kind of traversing that top layer and bottom layer a little bit easier. Plus, if you're in a tricky situation, it could be a good place to go. Ninja, though, in the chat, talking a little bit of trash, saying, Courage, get good, kid. GG.
I knew you were
oh my
the
gosh.
game within the game.
I love those two back and forth. It literally is hilarious to watch these two just day in, day out. I've been watching so many of Courage's YouTube videos in the hunting series, and having Ninja kind of featured along with a few others. Maven, for those who maybe have heard as of recent, just a crazy bald man. Their entire adventures together are always a blast, and like I said, the internal roasts that even go back and forth are always fun to watch as well, as someone just fired a lovely shot toward the outskirts. And speaking of lovely shots, Technoblade brings someone down to his own level. It looks as if he could pretty much being eyeing out his options right now.
He's being bold, right? Staying pretty much in the middle, and he's just kind of taking fire at just about anybody that he sees. But it also opens him up to maybe a lot of 3P, 4P, maybe even 5P opportunities. He's got to be careful. Symphony, though, good to see him still alive in the Hunger Games. I think Brook and Symphony did, in fact, have an early exit. This could be an opportunity for them to maybe gather a couple of points themselves, maybe even to kind of maybe crest that top 10 position, maybe even better their top 7, but a lot of competition this week, to say the least. But Symphony will be hanging out in the end. A lot of activity over on that one side. You can kind of see that, but it looks as if Techno still staying in the middle of things. And how long is he going to be able to do this? Symphony getting bold, actually challenging Techno, but unfortunately, Techno didn't have to do anything. Symphony just falls down to his death. Techno with another victim. He's probably taken 4 or 5 people out himself.
He has, but you can see he's running low on ammo here, and this is the tricky part, right? Techno's moved himself to a pretty nice chunk of land, but you see the only place to jump is straight up and down. As we see now, it's going to come down to some really nice sniper shots. I think everyone has found their spot, and Techno says whose ice will break first. This is all RNG at this point, and
do you have the Lunger, though?
You do have the Lunger, and that is the interesting part, and I'm so happy they added this. I hadn't even considered what the Lunger or what that could add to a mode like this, but more mobility, always an exciting thing to see.
I mean, like I said, you know, traversing that top layer now it isn't an issue, but then again, you have to be incredibly skilled, especially when all these blocks have been destroyed. If you use that Lunger, it could be deadly, but it seems as if, everybody's happy with the standstill.
Oh, no.
We just lost somebody, unfortunately.
So
and I think we're down to just 3 players left.
It's Moxie, Sparkles, and Techno, I believe.
Wow. crafty play from Techno. As they'll say, we'll gladly team up and maybe take someone down. And yes, there will be an unfortunate soul who does end up getting dropped. And now it will be Captain Sparkles v Techno. Long-range shots. I was going to say snowballs aplenty, but it's starting to become short in terms of resources. And now Captain Sparkles does even have the opportunity to get toward another area. And as soon as he focuses on his own real estate, that's when Technoblade comes through and hands him over a contract. Lovely, lovely work, as that will be game 1 to the Blood God.
And I think that was his last snowball. You can see in his inventory there were none left. So just wait. All right, one more shot. Let's make it work there. But I think we are seeing the Spleef metagame be written before our eyes, boys.
Definitely is, right? I got to say, Techno, bold plays. Staying in the middle. Something uncharacteristic, even for himself to be so bold, is to challenge literally every single person on the map. Techno's feeling good about his Spleef game, and rightly so, taking the first place position. But good on Captain Sparkles to do as well as he did.
Ninja's focusing courage, and he got him!
Oh, my gosh. I don't look at this! Back and forth, everyone focusing their attention toward this fight. Ninja running out of a little bit of real estate, and there he goes!
Wait for the type,
Takes him down again, Courage. Oh, man. Following to good old Tyler Blevins. I tell you what, this guy, that's amazing. Let's go and look at that one again. That one deserves a replay opportunity. Friends going at it as Ninja, not just in game 1, but also in game 2, has the laugh, as hopefully that will carry him forward to another top placement. But Courage going down early, that could start to affect the team's points a little bit. I know we're obviously it's all in good fun, right? His kind of internal battles versus Ninja, but still, I think he's got to be careful maybe for game 3.
Yeah, they were sitting in about 7th place, right? So now it's up to Whisper to kind of do most of the bulk work so they can get at least as many points as possible. But hey, Ninja literally wrote the book on how to get good, kids. So, I mean, I got to say, Courage, maybe you need to kind of study up, read the book yourself. Maybe you wouldn't be falling down to the lava so early. And
you know what's funny about, and I just realized this, their partners are Nestor and Wisp.
Yeah.
So as these two are fighting, these two gods of Minecraft are like, go ahead, fight each other. We'll be trying to win the game as we go about this. But you do love to see the battles again, and that ice starting to get very thin. I feel like every week the rate goes, and Techno actually falls from the 2nd layer all the way down to the 1st into the lava as well. Tried to switch over to the Lunger, but wasn't able to react quick enough. I don't know if that was ice breaking, but if Wilbur is still up, now is the time to come up clutch. You got all those points. You'd hate to see them go to waste by a bad second game.
You saw the Lunger just being used. One player goes up top. Ninja literally treading on thin ice. He's going to go ahead and dip away, maybe get some more coverage. Engages on Basti up ahead, but unable to connect enough. And I got to say, pretty accurate Ninja. Gotta be proud of him. He is definitely getting into the mix. He is not scared to fire on just about anybody that he sees. And off in the distance, going to be a player trying to stay safe on the island, but doesn't use the Lunger effectively. Falls into the lava along with the second victim. Another one going down themselves. We're down to just 7. They're falling quick.
The saddest thing is when they use the Lunger to try to save themselves, and they just bonk their head on the ice.
Either that or they
Not
just
quite
go,
quick
they
enough.
just go against the entire map and just falls down. Could you imagine using a Lunger actually breaking that first or that final layer, right, only to fall into another block? Oh, it'd be so devastating.
I mean, I can't imagine because we've seen it. We've seen just about everything that this Lunger can bring, and now we see the strategy that we so often see, XQC making sure have enough ammunition to make the plays here at the end. Basti, I don't know if Moxie is still up, so this might be an opportunity for some of these teams to make up some points, but we'll take a look right here. Dolan Dark still a kick in, as well as Grande. Is this going to be the opportunity for those two to make up some big points?
Well, we just lost like 3 players. I believe we're down to 4 now, and really, this is your opportunity now. You know, a lot of that snow is going to start decaying into ice, right? So maybe pick a safe area where you can make your final stand, at least so you can outlast some of the decay. But good to see XQC still up, trying to find out maybe where he's going to be engaging. But no, the blocks are getting thin, and he is just standing.
Wow.
As he luckily breaks free, and he's still up.
He is. He's holding on and kind of venturing out toward the outskirts, which by no means is a bad idea. It looks as if he just pretty much looks on, maybe fires off a casual snowball and says, yeah, that wasn't me. That was not me whatsoever. No idea who you're talking about. Dolan Dark running right into the fray. Unfortunately, does get taken down. So XQC, a solid person, a solid player to take down. And there we have it. A mano-a-mano situation. Basti facing off against XQC. A lot of pride on the line. I'd imagine a lot of hype, too, if XQC can walk away with this clutch.
XQC only with 4 snowballs left. Basti with, I believe, 12 or so. They both have the Lunger, but XQC doesn't have a lot to get more snowballs with. This is the opportunity.
Wow.
That's what
I was talking about. That would have been it. That would have been like the play of the century if he could have stayed alive and somehow took down Basti. However, not the case. A solid victory in the end, as that will be game 2 over toward Basti. But now we look on, right? And that's the thing. We're starting to see kind of a trend of certain players involved in the mix. I think when it comes into Courage and Ninja, it's definitely a fight that we have to be aware of. And I think for Nestorio right in Wisp, they're just saying, guys, just stay alive. Don't worry about each other. Don't try to get in the fray. Let's just try and stay alive. And as we talk about targets, I think that clearly Moxie and Co. may immediately have a target on their back.
James
Oh,
Charles
James.
making a
Okay,
move.
that
Love
can
it.
be done. I was curious if you could go up high enough with that, and it looks like you can. What an interesting dynamic to get added to where if you get knocked down early,
So I was talking about, yeah.
pop right back up.
Exactly, right? And getting on that second layer, but you have to use it sparingly because it does have a 30-second cooldown. Technoblade, come on now. You tried this before. You know you're not allowed to do this.
Bow to me.
But
Bow
at least
to your
he
king.
makes it fair game. Well, yeah, he wasn't expecting to go. Okay, we're back.
Jetpack. Just jetpack your way up. No big deal.
Jetpacks in Minecraft? First Call of Duty, now this?
More likely than you'd think.
Definitely.
Jerome, I messed up, man. Oh, I can't wait to hear the explanation for this one. As the Courage trying to go up and again bonking the head on the ice. Ice is solid, guys. It will hurt you.
Depending on how thick it is. This is some pretty thick ice. You're not breaking.
What in the world?
Jerome.
The Lunger strats.
To be fair.
Buzz Lightyear to the rescue.
Oh, and he came down straight onto somebody. Now everybody's doing it. But why did they just now decide to do it on round 3? Like,
once again, Techno innovating and everyone else following suit.
well,
I mean, what is the... That's the rule with rules. They aren't rules until someone breaks them before they're rules.
that's
so
fair. There's always one guy who messes it up for everybody else.
it's true, and naturally it is Techno. Gotta... this whole story makes a ton of sense when you really step back and look at it.
Good to see Valkyrie is still up there representing 100T, right? Being on the outside, just, minding her business, but unfortunately not for long. Fitz coming in and trying to knock her down to the lava. She is literally not even... Oh! But she did it!
Oh, the play!
Valkyrie!
The play! What a moment that was. If she could have stayed alive. I think she kind of got what she wanted, though, just to
Oh, yeah.
to pull off a quick little clutch. Lovely, lovely work. Props to Valkyrie. As Technoblade still toward the top layer. Many competitors, however, still existing on this second one. One of those happens to be James Charles, treading from block to block. And it looks as if one of those guys toward those top range, it looks as if, maybe 3-4 players up here. Papa Platt happens to be one.
I think he's going to lunge. I definitely
One
thought he
snowball.
was-
Here we go.
Oh, what? That was so melodramatic. I want to see him take that lunger straight into Techno and just try and knock him down low.
Well, we're starting to see, too, the different dynamic of maybe not wanting to lunge up at the beginning of it and instead waiting a little bit later to use it there. Can Techno get there? Now, can he land? Can he land? He got back up to the top on
literally
reaction.
One block.
The one block he needed. That's
Unbelievable.
incredible.
Oh, now he has to win. If he goes down again and doesn't get any more points, that is going to be so anticlimactic. But looks like opting to play a little bit passive right now and let some of these others knock themselves out. No respite for Papa Platt.
Techno may have a little bit of a verbal conversation right now with Zerka, saying, hey, you don't take me down, I just ignore you. Actually, as if you're not there either. Somewhat of a joint ventureship.
Not even looking at
Yeah, I
his
was gonna
opponent.
say,
Just keeps nodding yes over to Zerka. Techno, let us get a dub.
I love that.
To say nothing for the other 4 people on the map. Sorry, 3 people now.
Maybe they're paying him. I would do it.
Just what we need.
You would pick Techno.
Right. Literally. Vicstar, I think, still off in the distance. I think I may see Captain Sparkles based off the cape that seems to be shimmering. So good result for them right now. Those two, like we said, could be a competitors. There we go. Vicstar, nice little snowball to the face from his good old sidemen buddy, Zerka. Still roaming, though, hanging on. And does have that lunger if things start to get a little bit scary.
No top level, though. So it's all going to be here. And quite literally downhill from here, right? So snowball's over.
Well, that was a nice shot.
I believe that's onto Zerka in the corner.
Vic's got a good arm.
Oh, Techno. Oh, is he sneaking? Could you imagine trying to thinking Techno is actually going to give you the win, going for the diplomacy, and he just sneaks up behind you and just spleefs one block. That's all it takes to knock you down. You got to be worried about it, right?
I think you have to be here. You just have to know in the back of your mind, like, I can trust him, right? Right? Right now, I think everyone's just trying to stay alive. It's so fun that they've added the lunger, but everyone is trying to save it as almost a life vest. No one is using it in an aggressive manner. And I think that part of the reason for that is the scoring system here. Of course, if you knock somebody off or the opponent knocks somebody off, it doesn't really matter. The point is still a point, but you have to think at some point somebody is going to be the first aggressive lunge user. Another nod just to confirm that the plan is still a go. And Vicstar does fall.
I knew it!
Instantly, literally, as soon as Zerka takes his attention away, it is all about focus. A good opportunity, but Technoblade will walk away with this one. The Blood God will take 2 out of these 3 games.
That was so quick.
Wow, I'm watching the chat log. I just want to see what Zerka says.
Oh,
I guess we'll have to wait a little
quick.
bit. That was just instantly as soon as Vic goes.
I knew Tech. Come on.
Spleef.
You know, hey, Techno, one of the best players out there. There's no way he's giving you a free win. Like he said it himself. He's the ultimate tryhard. Even whenever it comes to TNT Run or Spleef, it doesn't matter. Techno's going to be trying.
I will say I love the dynamic though.
Oh,
really, with this lunger, I thought this was fantastic. It gave us so many amazing moments alongside this one. Right, the internal struggles of Courage trying to take down Ninja. I know Ninja definitely has, maybe less experience than Courage in terms of Minecraft, just based off of maybe a few weeks. But regardless, the quick man to adapt, as there we have it. A very interesting fight, kind of towards the bitter end for a few players, right? Diving in the midst of lava, trying to stay alive. That play from XQC would have been amazing. However, just did not muster up enough. And like we said, this is the way that this game started off for Technoblade. We talked about he and Zerka pretty much saw a little bit of an interesting fight off the rip, Zerka firing away, and I think maybe Technoblade remembered that. He said, you know what, you fired at me a little bit earlier. Now's my chance to take you down as soon as you look away from your perspective. Like we said, the Blood God always taking advantage of every opportunity he's given, as that should surely bring them up into a decent conversation right now, so much so that they will be in 3rd place, but tied with 4th and down by 1 to 2nd. So we literally have 1 point separating 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
That's insane, right? That is so incredible.
And then Moxie and XQC, just
right at the top.
926.
And then Beijing Canadian and Jerome, they're 30 points off. That's literally that's a few plays that you make, a few kills that happen, whatever it may
crazy.
be, just a decent amount of reactions forward, and they're totally in that conversation. So 2nd through 5th is absolutely up for grabs right now. I will say my worry with that is since these teams are so well-versed, they start to maybe lose focus of the team that is without question up ahead, right? I mean, XQC and Moxie really not slowing up all that much. I know they didn't win a single game in terms of Spleef, but regardless, though, I am interested to see exactly how this team can converse when it comes down to our next mode. So CTF, I was told, was having some issues working on it, so we are actually going to be playing Battle Arena. Now, to my knowledge, and I know that you guys obviously have way better memories than I do, despite me being younger than you. It's just whatever. It's just old age. I have no idea.
Under the bus we get thrown.
How do you say despite being younger, and then you refer to old age, losing your memory, but you just said you were younger?
I said that it's crazy that I have old age in the fact that you guys are older than I am. That you don't have that, but I do. Regardless,
Battle Arena.
Has XQC and Moxie won Battle Arena before?
No.
Okay. Have they gotten close?
I
think they got
well,
really
the first
close.
time that we played Battle Arena, I don't think they were yet
XQC
in.
and Moxie weren't in
I don't
yet.
think they were in at that
Techno
point.
was still the
I feel like
guy
they
who was
were. I don't know.
dominating Battle Arena.
I remember
because Mongrel made a couple of good plays.
Right.
Remember back then, because Mongrel was playing in it, and they were trying to take over high ground.
Sure.
Techno was in it; he was doing fairly well. But XQC and Moxie, I'm
then-
pretty sure wasn't in the at least
Right,
the first
and then
couple.
And then the week after that, I believe that was the week that Vicstar and Preston were teamed up, and they won just about everything that they did, including Battle Arena. But if you have not seen Battle Arena, and it's understandable if you're a newer fan of Minecraft Monday, we haven't played it in quite a while, you get that time there, PvP enabled, you get that much time to build up anything that you would like. Any armor, any TNT, if you somehow manage to do that, any weapons that you have. So you tend to see a lot of diamond come into play here, a lot of diamonds that get used to battle. And right now here there are some chests as well, but you get the option of playing it in a number of different ways. We have seen some players opt to dig straight down, get to the diamond level, try to find the diamonds, and base it all on that. Because again, you can guarantee that you're well kitted up if you go about that way.
100% right. And I think it actually works out quite well, taking CTF out. We don't know how that would have necessarily have worked, but I think putting in Battle Arena actually helps XQC and Moxie's cause even more, especially given the fact how well they did on Hunger Games, right? They had a massive lead, I believe, by like 70 points. With that being said, though, this is about finding those items, making really a lot of RNG comes down to this game mode too. You got to watch out, of course, for creepers and spiders. So, with that being said, it's also going to be kind of a scavenger hunt. Who can find the best items the quickest? And honestly, I got to tip my hat probably over to Marone, right? Because they have a lot of experience. They do fairly well when it comes to bingos, so they know their way around whenever it comes to getting items. So I got to say, pretty excited to see how this is going to turn out. And you also got to keep in the back of your mind, too, the further you go out, the further you're going to have to come back in. And if you're underground and maybe that zone catches you off guard, you could be in a lot of trouble because that zone hits hard.
It does indeed. And you see Moxie down there at the bottom was confirming how many points. It is 10 points per elim, and you get 30 points if you win. So if you are going to make up any ground at all, you need to get rid of them early. And we see a baby zombie chasing after Carson. Look at this. This zombie has got them running for the hills, quite literally. But again, this is maybe the remaining mode where you can make up some big points and prevent the opponents from getting those points. So we'll see here once that PvP runs down. And you see all these people running around, it's because in a lot of cases, they're looking for a chasm of sorts or something that they can drop into and have an easier time finding that good stuff. Because again, if you just dig down and you strip mine, it'll work eventually, but you got 7 minutes. You don't have time for this.
Yeah, right. You got to be thinking about that. And oh, always nice to find some iron. And I kind of talked about it, right? The Marone duo, Bayesian-Canadian, very good at finding items. And he finds a mine himself, able to come through, get some iron. And that is definitely going to be helpful. Obviously, to step up would probably be your diamonds, but, you know, it's kind of hard to find those.
Yeah, and you'd like that for weapons probably a little bit more than you would, unless you just have an embarrassment of riches and can have it all. But oftentimes we do see the teams get kitted up with full iron armor, very much like you would in Hunger Games. But we got our view right here. This is always the fun part, right? Seeing these teams run into each other, and just as we see two teams right here, Bazinga and Zerka with Symphony and Brook on the same path. And it looks like one of them might be about to drop down. Don't dig straight down. Don't do it. That's a long fall.
Oh, man, could you imagine?
Yeah, we might not have to imagine much longer.
Brooke.
Oh.
She's getting so close to that drop-off. And there's no way you're going to know, right? She's going to be going down. Well, Symphony, too.
They see it.
They're being careful. They're watching. They're taking their time. They're watching their step.
Okay.
That's why teamwork at its
What a
finest.
chasm that would be to fall like that early.
Oh, imagine if they were just a few blocks over, too, to the lava.
Sure, yeah. Oof. Never a good time, right, when you're on the course of exploration. Definitely dark here at the caves, but there we go. Brooke, thank you so much. Just decides to go and put out a torch right. Won't begin to call it, but right there in the hunt for some diamonds. That's the way that this mode really works, right? Try to get as much of those items as you can. Still 3 minutes and 20 seconds left until PvP is enabled, and that's when the slays start to come out. And usually these rosters, right, usually these teams, they dig down instantly, they find their kits, and then from there, guys, it's really an instant matter of challenging teams who aren't prepared, right? Challenging teams who are still hiding in the caves.
I want to see XQC and Moxie and see what their kit's looking like. That's who I'm really, really interested in, because I'm hearing some rumblings. Maybe they got lucky and found some diamonds, and I saw it in chat as well. And actually, XQC, yep, he's got the diamond headgear. He's got the diamond pants.
And the sword.
So from what I was hearing, 13 diamonds they found off the start. Just by digging down, they found 13 diamond off the start. Isn't that amazing? XQC Moxie, the rich get richer. They already have a 300-point lead. Now they find the diamonds. Now, it doesn't guarantee a win, but it sets you up for maybe a much easier win than you would probably necessarily have, right, if you just found, something like iron. The only thing now they could be working for is potentially maybe an enchantment, right? Got to be thinking towards that.
When it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours for these top teams. But you see, they've all burrowed down, I believe. Level 12 is where you have to go down to in order to find them. I think that, again, like you mentioned, most of the teams opting to do that. Some diamonds here for Captain Sparkles and Vicstar, a team that could potentially play some spoiler here. They're still in the run. They say, okay, we're doing well. That's a lot of diamonds.
Wow.
That's enough for at least 2 swords and maybe more depending on how deep it goes.
Now, granted, resources probably have been buffed, right? It's probably been buffed, but With that being said, though, still finding diamonds is kind of a rare thing, but regardless, that's a lot of diamonds for them to find. There's some off in the distance, too. Clearly, they won't know.
Ooh.
Techno
Oh,
finds
gosh.
some, too. So we have our top PvPers going to be kitted out with diamonds, right? Whether it's of course, armor, maybe some armor or some weapons or a mixture of both. That's scary for the competition.
Oh, no. They just lost to Whoa,
Wait,
they just
who's
lost
there?
2.
I think that's someone else.
Straight to the. Could you imagine if it was Brook and Symphony as they were
Oh,
digging straight
no.
down and then all the diamonds just continue to fall into the lava?
We all know how that feeling is. Like when
I
you
was about to
accidentally
point that out.
lose diamonds to lava. It is by far probably in a very depressing state for whoever that happens to be. Hopefully, if Technoblade, right, maybe just quickly gets out of there, does not want to focus on the negatives and really just kind of progress on to his own skill. But hey, there's one player who happens to be toward the top, and it's Basti, who is full diamond. And XQC and Moxie are saying, okay, this is decently impressive. We know this guy's here. Well, let's go and get out of here before he starts to slay us out. We got 40 seconds.
But then again, he's a solo, right? You could 2v1 him, and PvP is enabled in 40 seconds. Is it worth the risk, you think?
I think, too, XQC, and I noticed at the end, Basti instantly put away a lot of his armor. I think that may be the call for a lot of these teams. I don't think XQC wanted to kind of give all of the cards away. Say, hey, you know what?
Smart.
Oh, we're not looking that great. Oh, surely we only have a diamond sword, and that's really it. When in reality, they've got diamond everything. So you even notice Captain Sparkles is even ditching, right, the rest of the diamonds, saying, hey, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and start to get in the fight. Teams seem to be very, very well off as they look to be diamond everything.
You could be thinking about that zone, too. Getting caught underground with the zone moving in. I pointed out, right, it's going to be powerful, so got to start waking your way over towards the center. 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Here we are, right? The zone now going to be collapsing down. You got to be making your way towards the center. Don't get caught up. Captain Sparkles, though, in fact, he is, in fact, going to be going back for those diamonds. He is not worried at all, but already up to start. Brook goes down in courage. Wisp Symphony able to get a couple of kills themselves, but that was early.
Instant, even.
Instant. Literally instant.
I gotta say, I'm somewhat surprised out of all the players who are already venturing out. The Technoblade, at least for now, not one of them in a lovely situation for a Wisp as he's making Symphony look as if he's in his spawner, takes him down, loses a decent amount of hearts, but that's what you'd like to expect out of someone with Symphony's skill. Lovely played and well executed from Wisp. Unfortunately, does not have his teammate, at least for now, but regardless, fights going over toward the caves and even a few Titans beginning to stomp around on the ground level as Papa Plot and Basti wanting early control of that middle side, which to no avail is not a shock by any means. And here we go. Technoblade already making sure that sword is ready, making sure that it's tuned, as they may have a mentality, may have a goal already off the rip, and teams, players, get out of his way. He's not messing around.
Even checking to make sure that nobody was waiting inside the houses to make that even more difficult. And again, because these players are so well kitted up, it's not like Hunger Games where sometimes just finding the right item early on can make all the difference. This means that everyone's going to have a chance to slay out and make the fight happen. And look at that. Basti and Papa Plot immediately chasing after Ninja and Nestorio. They're like, okay, well, we got away from Techno, and now 2 diamond soldiers are chasing us. This, how does the phrase go? Out of the frying pan, into the fire?
Yep. Well, now into the water, and that could be even more deadly. And, wow, no respect. Basti straight into Ninja. Takes him easily out. He'll go ahead and focus his attention onto Nestorio, who's quickly going to be running away. And he'll get away shortly, right? But he's going to have to solo do it the entire time. We know how tough that can be. But for the time being, he's going to be at least okay. Actually, I got to say, Basti is covering some ground very quickly.
There are a lot of ways that you can do it by putting the blocks down here. So great on Basti knowing all those. And this should be a moment where Nestorio can really show his skill in the UHC skill set, the ultra hardcore mode. This should be where Nestorio is most comfortable. But I guess when you're out-kitted, there really isn't a whole lot you can do.
He just topped? That was smart. Did he top, or how did he get out of that?
Either
had to have
that
topped.
or Ender Pearl, something.
Surely
I don't think
he doesn't have an Ender. Well, he might have, actually.
He might.
you never know, but hey, we talk about
He struck us all.
survivability. I'm glad we talked you up there, Nestorio. You have proven us correct here.
Just like a ninja in the smoke, right? Just tosses it out,
Yeah.
gone. Where'd he go? Who knows? And gosh, we'll have to figure that out later, possibly. Who knows? Still, players roaming, and Techno says, you know what? This pesky small zombie, which I think was actually the same one we saw earlier, definitely could cause some issues. So Techno backing up, re-referencing, getting a better frame of mind, and taking down a few mobs along the way. As he and Wilbur, right, just kind of continue to venture elsewhere. That's one thing that I noticed, too, a lot from Technoblade is he'll instantly put kind of on his squad mates. Last week, Ninja, he instantly handed him over the bow. He wants those guys to be good for range. And look at this compass not needed about how about a few feet in front of you as Techno. Look at all the blue. Look at everything we've got going right now. Papa Platt and Basti, they reference back. They're going for Jerome, but do they know that Technoblade and co are just behind them?
You're going to be thinking Techno is kitted out very well, just like the others, but Techno also has a gapple he can use for later on. Basti trying to get as quickly away as possible. He's going to go ahead and up his blocks maybe for that fight late game. Maybe even looking potentially for an apple later on, especially if they have a lot of gold, right? You got to be thinking. But Techno, compass out. He looks like he's dipping away.
Probably didn't want to put himself in a position where there'd be 3 fully kitted out players getting a fight right there, and I think they've identified someone. The compass has pointed them over to this direction, and you see right now they are crouching. Let's take a look here as to what they'll be trying to find, or who they'll be trying to find. Rather, we haven't seen XQC and Moxie engage in any fights either, but honestly, given the position they're in, I think that's probably okay. I feel like they have a lot more to lose than to gain by engaging in a fight this early.
Definitely got to think about, right? Maybe save your life. Get into those 3-piece situations. Carson, though, in a fight. Techno, hot on his heels. He'll be slowed down just a little bit, but Techno's going to be pressing forward and might be able to catch him. You got to be thinking if he does, right? Carson could be in a little bit of trouble. Probably you've got to be putting your money on Techno in that 1v1 fight. For the time being, nobody's going to be home as of yet. And zone off in the distance. Techno will go ahead and backtrack. Onto Raccoon Eggs. He places some lava. Not going to connect, though. Quick bucket of water placed down. But if Techno can capitalize here, it could be a couple of kills.
Easily could. Right, trying to reference around, trying to kind of gain somewhat of a surrounding, right, for the area that we have ourselves in. Players kind of all around this mountainside. Blue being filled pretty much everywhere. And unfortunately for Captain Sparkles, he's in the midst of lava. Basti places down that bucket of water just to make sure everything is good to go. A solid victory for them as XQC and Moxie are on that enchanting table. Now, you do see players by no means off in the distance. They're not far at all. And this is a great situation for them to really start to upgrade. Call me Carson. Checking out Fitz, taking down Pokimane. As unfortunately, Pokey taken down for now. We'll see if Fitz can do her justice. As this fight, that was kind of the one that we were looking at in terms of the XQC and Moxie, who was kind of off in the distance. It was this, and here we go. Basti from the top side, continuing to use these blocks, and unfortunately, he places down some lava. Own devices falling to it. Rather unfortunate. Basti, Papa Platt, they continue to roll.
You know the old adage, right? Play with fire, you get burned. That's exactly what happened to Carson, and people hiding over.
He did the top.
Down below.
He did top. They got out. They ran right into the little cave, and I think players started to scatter a little bit. Maybe Fitz thinking a lot more along the lines of how to earn points rather than who to engage with. As Papa Platt takes down Valkyrie, that duo of Papa Platt and Basti is so, so good. But here comes, speaking of duos, a dominant one. James Charles takes down Fitzy Fitz. I think Techno and Wilbur maybe having a great opportunity to seize a 3P. Travs not going down without a fight, quickly referencing back and gaining all the health needed for this very influential one. Players beginning to separate, and that's exactly what Technoblade wants. Here comes the Gapple play, but knocks him right into the lava. James Charles, no! Is he done for? It looks to be the case. Wilbur trying to reference back, and Travs wants to save James, but it looks to be not at all the case. Trying to go back, trying to grab old heads. Even bows, everything being established right now as XQC takes down Papa Platt. Big fights going down everywhere. Techno tossing off resources. And there we go. One major duo dropped as Technoblade, Wilbur, they look to continue this engagement.
What a fight. I mean, that lasted at least 30 seconds.
You know, you forget how good diamond armor is because we never see it. But all these swings against enchanted diamond swords, and they're still up.
Oh, the sun's going down. The mood's being set, right? That zone closing in. And got to be thinking about that, especially if you're James Charles. You know you have to be pushing forward. Techno, though, he is going to be the barrier in himself. Enchanted Bow out. Barrier now hitting Travs as well as James Charles. They continue to swing, but to no avail. No one is going to be able to connect enough. Finally, someone is going to fall, and that's going to be Zerk, actually, falling along with his teammate. Wilbur finally able to take out Travs. James Charles escapes for the time being, but got to imagine he's going to be very weak now. It's going to be a 2-on-1, and it's only a matter of time before James is going to fall. But I got to say, his tenacity to live is far outweighing anything else. And finally, he drops, but Moxie comes in for the 3P, takes off the final couple of hearts. He's going to be rewarded with that elimination.
I was wondering when someone else was going to come in, Landon.
Yeah, I think Technoblade actually did hit the head at the end, so he had some extra HP because he was low. Like we said, very solid players still roaming around in this very interesting box. And look at this, someone thinking 3Ping opportunity, and it looks as if, I think that's no, that's actually Grape Applesauce who's doing it. I thought it was Grande at first. XQC says goodnight to Raccoon. And here we go. Here's the fight, the one that we've been looking for. XQC and Moxie versus Technoblade and Wilbur. You see Techno, not the greatest of HP, but here comes the fray. Moxie says goodnight to Wisp, hits a home run in the process, and now Wilbur is cut off in the end. Wonderful diving attempt there for Moxie and XQC as they take down everybody in sight. Of course, you got to keep in mind, there is someone who currently is out of the line sight. Oh, and Technoblade, he's trying to make the play. He's trying to build as fast as humanly possible, knocking down player after player, has the water if need be, but here comes the fray, here comes the fight, and here comes the barrier, brought down to low amounts of HP, trying to utilize any bits of health that he can, and here comes the zone, here comes the close.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Possibly good night to Technoblade, as he may be done, and there it is.
He got XQC down to 3 hearts and Moxie down to 10.
I am impressed by how aggressive XQC and Moxie were, despite Techno trying to take over the high ground, but just block up. It wasn't enough in the end, and now XQC, Moxie, they're feeling confident. They're going for all the elims. Now onto Vicstar, but XQC very low in health. You got to watch out, especially if you get knocked out. Jerome, though, onto Moxie. He's going to take him out in the meantime. Vicstar still in the middle. XQC, Moxie, they're gone. Jerome, Vicstar, they remain. And the final couple of engagements going down. Vicstar, though, taking a lot of damage. But no worries, though. He's still going to be up. Grape Applesauce goes in for the attack. Vicstar able to take him out. Now we are down to the final team versus the final team. And we're going to see at least Jerome coming up. Vicstar up top as well. And Vicstar going in for those final couple of hits.
Oh, this makes sense.
Vicstar takes a gapple. Jerome, though, able to at least take a couple hearts off. And in the end, it's going to be the Marome duo taking the victory as Vicstar falls down.
How long was he hiding in there, in that water? How long was he hiding in that fountain?
Quite some time.
I didn't even know where he was swinging from. I don't think XQC or Moxie knew either. So, you know, for XQC and Moxie, they certainly did what they needed to do and then some, with some of the highest elim counts right there. And, of course, a top 3 finish for their team. But, my, oh, my. That's how you get it done there, Jerome. Make up some points. I like it.
But regardless, though, right, Marome wins that. But I have to highlight XQC and Moxie once again. They finished off at least 4 or 5 teams themselves, and that's going to be a mass amount of points. They don't get the bonus at the end, but it definitely does go over towards Marome. Now, going into this game, they were actually sitting in 5th place, right? So you got to be thinking, yeah, it's going to be a lot of points going their way, but is it going to be catastrophic in terms of maybe narrowing that gap, narrowing that deficit that we saw Moxie and XQC have in the first place? And here's the score line in 9. What do we see?
About 250 points separating these teams right now is what we see right here. And again, we are starting to get down into the final few games. And we said that that was the game mode, really one of the only game modes where you could prevent Moxie and XQC from scoring. And so often, you know they're going to get their points. You have to find a way to prevent them when you get the opportunity. That was not done right there. They took care of business. Great showing by them. But I have to say, again, very crafty play from Team Marome. You said it earlier. They've been around so long, there aren't many tricks they haven't figured out.
Yep.
Yeah, right. I mean, they really are the veterans when it comes down to this game mode, and really when it comes down to the next one that we're about to have as well, right? Bingo. This is kind of a favorite for a lot of the guys, right, in terms of the way that they prepare, the way that they kind of, you know, progress as a team. And since this is a, you know, a roster, we have a lot of new people who are kind of involved with the Minecraft scene as it started to explode as of recent. These are 2 guys who have been playing it ever since then. The grind has never really stopped, if you will. So I think that's also one advantage that we could give to them, as I think they're, 1 point away from third place as they currently sit in fourth. So by no means out of this, kind of podium conversation of which they're always, in some ways, involved with it. But I think this is going to be a good opportunity for them, maybe even a few other rosters to try and catch XQC and Moxie. A lot easier said than done, however.
It is, right? And you got to be thinking, this is our 6th game, right? We only have 9 of them, so you got to capitalize now in every single mode. I saw that face you gave to 9. Every time we say 9, 9 grains, of course, has to be brought up. Anytime we say reflections, there's not many opportunities.
I wish I had
There's not
one.
many opportunities for
Land?
land, but I mean, come on.
Land on
is
is like a common one that I'm.
Can you really like land? I mean, we'll try.
Sorry,
we'll try
Taylor,
for you to
I'm
make
glad
you feel
that
good.
you don't have that
I'm
opportunity.
I picked a good name. Reflections, not really. It is what it is. Can't rebrand. I'm too far established. Regardless, anyways.
Are you finished yet?
We're going into bingo, baby. And I got to say,
Do you provide any? I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm messing with you.
both of you guys, man. I'm telling you. But anyways, we're heading into bingo.
You digress. Yep.
I digress. We're heading into bingo. With that being said, bingo doesn't allow for, that many crazy points. So you kind of just want to try and do the best that you can do. But XQC Moxie, we know they're the bingo kings.
They are. Ever since the start, the communication, big for them, and they've only gotten better. And it seems like they always find the hardest item first. That seems to be the strategy that they go with.
Yeah, and that really kind of has been the blueprint for a lot of teams as well to kind of walk away in one of those first 5 spots as well, right? To kind of go for the more difficult item, to maybe even kind of separate certain players, to not stick with one another. And I feel like we've learned so much over time of how to really kind of complete these bingo cards, what really is the overwhelming strategy, and how you kind of implement it to the best of your ability. Now, I actually had an early opportunity to look at the bingo card, and one major aspect about it is that it does involve a lot of diamond items, as you're going to be able to see here, right? I mean, literally so much diamond. You have to go for an anvil, TNT. I mean, literally so many different things. This is going to take some grinding, but at the same time, it's also going to take a decent amount of digging.
Definitely is. Now you got to be thinking, do you go for the chasm? Do you go for the cave? Do you try to strip mine? Do you try to split up? Maybe, double your opportunities in finding those diamonds. I think, honestly, that's the best way to go about it. I think you split now, try to find your diamonds. XQC Moxie probably going to be thinking that overall. TNT might be a little bit difficult. Maybe, honestly, the gap will probably going to be one of the easier items on there, but definitely those 3 items that are completely diamond is going to be tough. And already starting off with Jerome. Let's see what he's up to.
Listening in right now, it's so fun to hear the comps.
Dude, I was like, I just couldn't believe it. When it came down to XQC landing on you, I thought you were dead.
No, but I couldn't believe it either, because I literally, I was just trying to meme away a second. I didn't, even for even like a millisecond, I didn't believe I could win. And then I just saw, I blacked out. Next thing I know, Vic's running away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how low was your health? Because I think Vic could have killed you if he didn't eat that stick.
No, me and Vic engaged, and I had almost full health by the time when he was running. I had like 8-9 hearts.
Oh wow, so he didn't do any damage. Okay.
I don't think he did very much at all. But like I said, I kind of like blacked out, dude. I was just like in the zone.
I love that. I just blacked out, no big deal. Just kind of carried forward.
And you see the difference between this and then the last, well, not the last team that we interviewed, but the team that we've interviewed before, and our team in first place. We got this easy all the way through. Yeah, no, I won by complete accident. I blacked out. I don't know how that happened. That was a mistake. That was not part of the plan.
I just blacked out, man. I didn't even know what was going on until it was over. He's got to watch the VOD afterwards to see how he even did it. Awesome stuff. Hey, you'll take it.
You will indeed. And it looks like one of the things right now is trying to look for some of these resources that they need. Of course, we've seen the apple be tricky for the Gapple. Most famously, I believe it was Techno back in week 3 who could not find an apple, had everything necessary, and could not find an apple. But you see now, we do have some teams digging down deep.
And that might be Bazinga trying to early on get some of those diamonds, which we talk about kind of is the key for this game. 3 different tools, which, like I said, overall isn't going to be the craziest amount. Maybe if you find a particular cluster, you should be good. But regardless, the digging down a process. It looks as if maybe Zerka sent toward the skies to do some other work, while Bazinga says, you know what, I'm willing to do the dirty work. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to walk away with this W. And as I know, whenever we interviewed them a little bit earlier, their kind of frame of reference wasn't necessarily specific on this mode. They were kind of talking about TNT Run and Spleef, but I think if they can start to move up a little bit, if they maybe get this bingo card done early, they find nice strand of diamonds, they could be in a pretty decent spot to maybe overtake Courage, which always seems to be the major goal for these two.
And I believe that it's, what, 8 diamonds that they'll need now? 2 for the sword, 3 for the axe, 2 for the hoe?
Correct.
So 8 diamonds. And I don't know if the spawn is set to higher like it was for Battle Arena, but if this is normal, that would mean, what, 2, maybe 3 clusters of diamonds you'd need to find, theoretically, to make all of those?
I would say at least 2, minimum 2 if you find like a good cluster, yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot, I mean, given the fact about how rare diamonds can be. So we could be, I think we won't be probably playing as long as, going and trying to find Nemo during that one time we were fishing out, right? Because the chance of that was like 2%. But I definitely think it's still going to be one of a longer bingo than maybe we're used to seeing overall. And it's going to take some time.
Oh, okay.
So meanwhile, everybody's going for the clay, and that's cool, right? Because it's respawn up. But I'm still with the XQC and Moxie strategy. Finish off the hardest ones first. Go down, try to dig, right? Strip mine if you need to, and find those diamonds overall. And a couple of trees nearby, too, so she could be going for the gapple if she decides to, and that's probably something you'd be thinking about. Maybe find your apple, solidify the gold blocks, and you'd be good to go.
Just the clay, the hardened clay is what we need.
Okay,
right?
hardened clay.
Yeah.
At least good to have a teammate that knows what you need to find, right, and can communicate effectively. It's kind of how it would be if I was playing and trying to figure this out. I would need somebody who knows what's going on, but it's good to see that Pokemon at least has that apple.
We're going to need...
And I do believe now that if I remember from previous experience, I do think that this is the biome where gold spawns more frequently. So at least, like you were saying there with the Gapple, this is an opportunity for players to get as much as they need. So again, maybe digging down here is the strategy as we've kind of seen this now. But I think most of these teams are taking an awful long time. We haven't seen much on the activity feed in the bottom. Really, it's only been Techno and Wilbur actually going for all 3 parts of the clay there at the start. And we haven't talked at all about the TNT. That's a tricky one too, Landon.
Yeah, that is going to be a pesky one to find. Hopefully players are ready for it, right? Maybe try to find a few of those creepers potentially just based off the resources. But regardless, though, obviously, top caliber team that we have to talk about, one that's kind of been in that main conversation is Captain Sparkles. It is Vicstar. It looks as if, okay, already off the rip, getting that diamond sword finished out, getting the diamond hoe as well, potentially. Like we said, good old Jordan getting this one figured out. And it looks as if, yeah, they'll be good. So they've got some difficult items already off the board. And I think he's looking for one more diamond to go and complete what could be considered by a lot of people as probably one of the most difficult.
Just one more, right? And I mean, that's RNG coming in its finest. Just going down, trying to find your diamonds. And it seems to at least work out for them in the end. That's what I was saying. Instead of focusing on the clay and all the easy stuff, just dig down, try to find those diamonds overall. Liking the strategy, though.
Nice.
Coming down and trying to at least see what he can find overall. But I want to know what's going on with Brooke, right? What's going on with my favorite duo, Brooke and Symphony? And it's a bit quiet.
Chat, don't say no. Say what? Say
oh, she's looking. She's
I
looking for a
think
chat.
She's looking for help.
She's looking for for help with the chat.
I can't blame her. I would be doing the same thing. I mean, some of the items that are chosen are just like, wait, okay, how does this work exactly? So I definitely can't blame her at this point. Needing some help. Needing something. Chat, help me. Symphony, please. Anything.
Well, we've seen that most famously, people asking chat, how do I build this? We've even heard Techno call for that a few times, saying, wait, how do I build this? But you see, this is a very smart strategy that they have. They have started crafting their clays. You can see there's the rose red to make some of that, but they are doing it underground. So they got what they needed, then they dug down, and they say, well, we're going to be down here for a while anyway. May as well start making it now. Oh, wait, did she make the wrong color?
Come on, give me diamonds.
I think she did.
Oh, no. It's got to be close enough, right?
Oh, and she's out of hardened clay, too.
Yep, I know that face very well. I know that face very well.
Oh, man.
No.
That is so unfortunate.
Yep.
Oh, and the realization setting in. Yep. Gotta go get more. Oh.
That hurts. That hurts. Think you're good to go, and you just don't have enough. And she tried to make it work, too, with a different colored block.
Close.
She was really trying, but it just didn't happen. Oh, well. It happens. It happens. Wilbur, though, Get to see what he's going to be up to. Wilbur, a player that's been doing considerably well, I think, with Techno. I think that duo's not been bad whatsoever. And I got to say, I expect a lot out of them. How many items? They found 5 so far.
Yeah.
So not bad at all. But any diamonds, though, so that's the thing.
No, I think that they've gotten almost everything except for the diamonds, but it's an interesting thing to note. I believe last week when we interviewed Wilbur, who was teaming with Phils at the time, said that bingo was one of their best modes, so you have to imagine all this swinging after a tree. This has to be going for the apple, so some simple math for you here. If they haven't found any of the diamond items, the gapple is going to be the last thing they need that isn't diamond, so will Techno be foiled once again by the lack of an apple? No, it will not happen this time. Team TP, they need diamonds, they need gold, and that's all. They are looking good right now.
I love Minecraft Monday, just the hype that we get. Like, he found an apple at last. I think he's going to go and take a break. I think it took so much out of him. He's like, you know what? I need a break after that one. But look at that. Wilbur, Technoblade, he deserves a break. They've been going on the grind. 6 out of 9 items already. And I'm curious if Technoblade is either communicating to Wilbur, of which he's not there, or if he's just, in general talking. Hopefully he'll figure that out eventually. But now back on board with good old Ninja, who I'm sure is learning a lot more about Minecraft today in terms of the items I'm sure he's probably never heard of. I'm definitely there as well to a certain extent. But, hey, he's carrying on.
Placing the torch down and then trying to place a block on top of the torch. Slowly learning the build mechanics.
It's encouraging, though. Hey, even the best in the world, at least, whenever it comes, or one of the best players in the world, whenever it comes to streaming, the BRs and stuff like that, he's still learning Minecraft. So it gives me encouragement to continue learning myself. The fact that he didn't know that, but with that being said, I did like the overall strategy that we saw from Wilbur and Techno a little bit earlier. Wilbur was up top. He was going for the clays. He was going for the items that you need on the surface level. Meanwhile, Techno was down low, and he was mining for the diamonds. He was mining for the gold, and that was a good strategy to kind of work out versus what I initially thought was going to be the smarter strategy. Just go straight down low, start strip mining, find a cave. Both of you try to find the diamonds. Well, kind of deviating, right? One up top, one down low seems to be the best way to go about it because you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and you don't have to go through multiple. It's a sort. Okay, you don't have to go through multiple different levels. But whenever it does come to Ninja and his teammate, it seems as if they were both up top instead of going down low. So now they're both going to be going down. So it's going to be interesting to see how much of a difference the different strategies is going to make.
I love the call out too, brother. I'm going straight down.
That timing is actually crazy. Literally instantly switched over to James Charles, finds diamonds. We're definitely not taking. Wait, did he find 2 different strands?
Oh, are you kidding me?
6?
Oh, okay, so he just found 6.
That sucks.
Okay.
Oh, well. Hey, at least, there's positives. Positives at the end of the tunnel, no pun intended, for good old James Charles. As, like I said, they're probably really in need of that right now. We talk about if maybe they're short on diamonds. If they've yet to find any, they'll probably be around the 6 to 7 mark after this is all over. As definitely hearing a decent amount of explosions. So he's probably checking in, making sure his teammates all good to go. But in the resource category, they're living large.
The redstone.
For the anvil and everything.
Okay, so good stuff. Good communication overall.
I think I'm in a mine shaft right now, so.
So he's in, okay. So his partner's going to be in a mine shaft as well. So 6 diamonds, not bad. So what? They only need to find how many more? I think 2 more. Right?
Yeah, 2 more diamonds. 8 is enough diamonds to fill all of this. So I think the conversation for them right now is, again, just identifying if they should go into the mine shaft. Both of them go into the mine shaft, or if should continue this pseudo strip mining operation that involves cooling down a little bit of lava in the path. But again, you see the call-out's starting to get desperate here. They're starting to see, okay, everyone else is starting to find stuff too.
So Zerka, they make the anvil, so that's been done now. So they're sitting at 6 themselves.
One of the things we need.
Oh, you're right.
And Golden Apple, they're just now realizing, hey, Golden Apple, we need that.
It's kind of crucial.
Oh, Travs.
What are
Travs,
many
please.
resources?
So good to see a diamond host been found at this point from Dolan. And now over to XQC. They're at 5. Still searching for those diamonds. Now, didn't they find a couple of diamonds off the beginning? Or I'm thinking Marome. They found a couple of diamonds off the beginning. But I'm starting to see a lot of diamond axes, diamond hose being made, diamond sword as well. So James Charles, Travs now with 2 in their possession. We know they needed at least 2 more diamonds. to make everything. Moxie XQC, though, that's going to be the Gapple made.
I don't know how much.
Got to be thinking maybe they're just going for the diamonds last.
I hear lava.
Okay. Excitement growing.
I think we've all been in this situation so many times where we're just like staring at our screen while playing Minecraft and just like, oh, well, yeah, there's lava nearby. Okay, I'm hearing a zombie. There it is.
I would love to have some of that technology that shows you the eyes of the players, like how far they're going, and just watch like XQC individually examining all of these blocks at lightning speed. Not there, not there, not there.
I don't know how many
Eye
TNT
trackers
I
are
have no
always
idea.
awesome.
No, it's all made. It's all made. We're all good. We just need diamonds.
Yeah, I just need to go faster, to mine faster.
Huh.
Just need to mine faster. I guess they don't have any more iron. I have to think that they would consider making a second iron pickaxe, which of course will get you through a lot quicker, and you can't mine diamonds without it. So I have to think this is the only one that XQC currently has.
I believe it. Diamond's gonna be right here. It's gonna be right fucking here. Right here. It's gonna be right fucking here.
Oh, he just found a cave. There's some. Okay, I apparently don't need any more gold, so they're good. But they are looking for diamonds. Lapis, don't tip me.
Trip me up a little bit. They've already found a Gapple. No reason for gold. Oh, they found. I think they found. Literally, mine someone. Yeah. What happened?
Wait. Oh, there's creepers. There's creepers. They're trying to stay alive. I think they're on one of their final items. They've got one more left. It's just the Gapple. It's just the Gapple. Charles, feeling the intensity. Wait, they both topped at the same time, and not one of them stayed back to get the items.
Where's their stuff at?
Oh no!
Where's their stuff at?
Oh, it's still in the bottom layer. They both went up at the same time.
Oh no! Communication needs to be there.
Oh, and the call out saying we're gonna win. We won. We won.
Oh, there's Grape Applesauce and Valkyrie. They've got 8 of 9. Oh my god! One team's done. Stereo Ninja. They got it done first. Oh, this is intense for them. Little does every roster know, they should have been first.
Got all the gold back. We're fine.
Got all the gold back. They're fine. Okay. So luckily, his teammate was able to go back down and find it, but
Looking for the apple now, I'd imagine.
that was literally the definition of, man, life hits you fast.
Oh my gosh, Grape Applesauce and Valkyrie. Here we go. We'll get to watch their reaction.
Quick.
And talk about how we
One in
needed to
each
get
one.
this one rather quick. We needed
No, we can still win. There's
to fire it
still
away.
options
They
that could
weren't
win. We're
first,
so
but I'll tell you
close.
what, they weren't too far behind.
I thought I had enough iron. No.
Okay, iron. Okay,
I need one more piece. There we go.
Boom.
Okay, we got this. We got this.
Boom. There it
Did
is.
it.
Love to hear
Let's
it.
go.
Love to see it.
We were
Second
second.
team done.
Second. We just did that.
GG's.
We just did that.
Oh, Valkyrie.
Literally
Hey, she was
seconds
pumped
off
though
of
when she
first.
found out they could at
Oh,
least
no.
still win, because you saw how disappointed she was. It's like, oh man, we didn't get first, but second place still just as good, right? You missed out on a couple bonus points, but it is what it is.
And it's especially impressive given the struggles early on with the different clay. So that makes
true,
it
yeah.
even better. But again,
Well,
taking a look, it looks like we're going to be swapping over here once again. There are so many teams that are still mining right now. Look at this. All of the good work that Techno had done at the start, they still have not finished yet. And we know that XQC and Moxie searching for theirs as well as these other teams start to come through.
Okay.
See right there.
All right.
Oh my god. I think he took a beating, guys.
yeah, I think he's had some struggles.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to bring
Symphony
it
and
to you
Brooke
now?
now with the golden apple.
That moment right there where we
Ninja,
Hey.
trash talking. Jack, you're so bad. Good to see that stuff. You could still trash talk in bingo.
Well, it's Ninja. He's going to find an opportunity to trash talk anytime he gets
That's
the
true.
chance
That's
there.
true.
No one is safe.
Ninja has some top tier trash talking ability. Trust me.
And you have to assume this has been going on for like 5 minutes. XQC and Techno, I have to imagine, have a strip mine that is running the entire length of the world right now. And they will run into each other at some point. You'd think it's both of them again, just going for the same item. They're just trying to find diamonds.
Oh man.
Got to stay at that level 12, right? That's going to be your most fruitful for finding your diamonds.
You see Vicstar and Captain Sparkles at 8 out of 9 themselves.
Oh, it's getting crazy. It's getting intense. Here we go. Kind of toward the end stages.
Apple, please.
See, I think what the commonality for a lot of people is just like, okay, we mined down, we went for diamonds, that's great, and then we realized, oh shoot, we either have to go back down for gold or we have to go for the gapple in some capacity, and it looks as if that seems to be kind of one of their main focuses. Is there we go, now 8 out of 9 for Vic and Captain, just to confirm.
Team TP, and just get an apple.
That's what I was talking about, right? Sending one player up top, sending one player down low.
Oh my
Up top goes and he gets all the clays, he gets the apples, he gets everything you need to gather for at least surface level. Then you have the player down low, but this could be the last potential item, and you got to be thinking with every block, he's hoping and praying an apple just randomly falls down.
Is this even possible?
Oh no, and there's not. He's got to find another tree.
Captain Sparkles versus the apple tree.
Right, the only thing that could defeat him.
Now Vicstar gonna hope. Watch, Vicstar's gonna get it on like the first legitimate tree that he swings at after Captain Sparkles has taken down a whole one. Wilbur and Techno get 2 of their diamond items.
So Zerka, Bazinga, they're also at 8 out of 9.
Wilbur and Techno got theirs. They got just enough diamonds.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Should have given it to you before. I just didn't assume I could die.
It's a pretty
totally
dry tree. It's gonna be a dry apple.
Gold apple nonetheless.
Hey, would you want to eat a ripe gold apple?
I don't know, actually. That's a good point.
That is a good point.
I feel like the gold is the bigger issue here.
People put gold in everything,
It
though.
always comes down to this.
Golden donut, golden burger.
Put down that crafting table.
Oh, there's the diamonds that we talked about. Obviously, this is a little bit delayed, right, in terms of there, but
A hoe and a sword. Okay,
they pretty much put their diamonds together, and they made it work.
All right, you need a hoe. I'll start reading it out.
Yeah, I've got it.
Someone randomly makes a shovel on an axe.
Well, you heard that's why they were communicating, say, okay, you make this, you make that. But then Techno was like, you know what? There's too much of a chance that we will both make the same thing. Take all the diamonds. You do it.
Bingo gods. I
Bingo
like
gods,
that.
even though they're the 4th one to complete
I'll
the
say
card.
if they were to be a little bit down instantly in the chat, what do we expect from Techno if he doesn't win? Hacks. No way. Not a chance. Here we go. One final spot, right? So many teams on the cusp of completing it. And Captain Sparkles just called out. He's got the apple.
Please be fast, be fast, be fast.
I love that.
The gold has to smelt.
There it is.
Nice.
That has got to be stress lifted off their shoulders in terms of a team who is in that top conversation right now, right? In battle for top 3 are those two. So the fact that they managed to complete that just at the end, I think definitely settles themselves a little bit better.
Definitely does, right? You got to be thinking, how nervous would you be, right? You know, 4 people have completed their card, and like there's at least like 6 other teams too who are like sitting at 8 out of 9. It's tough to say the least, but they made it work. They made it happen. And that lead starting to lessen, right? Nestereo Ninja actually, believe it or not, coming up 2nd place now. 898 points to 1,084. They're getting close, and we're getting down to our final 3 games.
Great work again from there. Again, just to kind of run you down the rest, as always, 2 through 5. Very, very close right here within 100 points. But Moxie and XQC still sitting A-OK. You said that the lead has lessened. Still almost 200 points as we get into TNT Run as our next game. Landon, what do you have to say so far about this incredible round that we saw there in Bingo?
Yeah, I mean, it was intense for sure, like kind of toward the end. I think the trend kind of continued for a lot of different rosters in terms of, what items should we go for. And I think a lot of people started to kind of overlook the idea of looking for some, cheap gold. That, for a lot of people, maybe it doesn't seem as if it's the primary item, but it definitely kind of more or less seemed to be that. But I believe that we've actually got Bajan and Jerome on the phone. Guys, how's it going?
Good. You?
I'm doing very well. Have enjoyed watching you guys up to this point, kind of throughout a number of different game modes that we've got to spectate. Now, talk to me a little bit, because at one point we were watching you guys on Spleef, and was one of you at the top of the course? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I was just like curious. I was like, I wonder if they actually had the barrier still. And then I launched myself using the lunger, landed on top of the wall. I was like, oh God. I didn't think I'd make it that far. And then I did. And I was like, oh no, I got to self-report myself before they ban me.
Because you're going to catch your instant replay here in TNT Run.
There you go, right? I got to say too, right? That wasn't kind of the end of the crafty plays, right? When it came down to the end of Battle Arena, I know we had saw Bajan unfortunately fall a little bit earlier than we were thinking, okay, where's Jerome? Jerome at. I think it might have been 9 who called it out, was saying, okay, Jerome's got to be around here somewhere. And then at the end, we see you kind of come from the bottom layer, and then you get into one of the most intense fights versus Vikkstar, in which I think you said that you might have blacked out. Kind of walk me through the ability of staying alive and clutching that one out.
Yeah, I channeled my inner Gears of War like the Locust.
There you go.
And then when the time was right, I just popped out, and I still hid though, so I crouched underneath the ladder. And at that point, I was just trying to get second. At no point was I trying to win the actual game. And then I just peeked my head up, and I saw all of a sudden XQC or Moxie, one of the two, fell on my body, and I was like, all right, well, this is an easy kill. And I killed him. And then Vic started doing the same thing. I'm like, all right, let's just keep cutting out his ankles. And then I don't know what happened after that, how much health I had left. I just remember winning, and I was like, oh God, this was not expected at all.
Unintended, but hey, you'll take it regardless, right? So you guys currently sit right now, I believe, in 5th place in the standings. Obviously, we've got 3 more game modes still to come. How is your guys' confidence, at this moment, and what's it going to take for you guys to at least, right, kind of get on that podium?
Well, Mitch is Captain Confidence here, Mitch. You want to...
Oh, Captain Confidence. I'd love to step in. Last week, I was the Crimson Coward, so this week I'm Captain Confidence. So I've leveled up at least. We're going to go... we're going to try and recover at least 100 points of the deficit right now in TNT Run, Jerome, so I expect big things out of you. Okay, just jump out of the map real quick and stay on the safe zone. And after that, what do we have left as far as games go? We've got Replica, we've got a Hunger Games. Is that kind of it? Like, we're getting towards the end here, so it's going to come down to that Hunger Games, which is kind of classic, I found, at the last, 6 weeks here of Minecraft Monday. That last Hunger Games is critical. So we're going to get down there and hopefully claim this Mr. Beast bounty as well, because I think there's some shenanigans going on as well.
Exactly, right. We're going to be talking about that one here in the studio. Definitely looking out for that, right? $15,000 on the line. I think that I definitely would at least be attempting at that one, but still, like I said, I want to give you guys a massive thank you for joining us on the call, and we really do wish you guys the best. It's always a blast to watch Team Rome kind of dive into the Minecraft action, and we couldn't thank you guys enough.
No, thanks for having us as always. They knew about Marome.
They did their
We did. We have. We've done our job. We'll take it for now. But like I said, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Cheers,
and
guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, thank you guys so much. But that's going to do it, right? You heard it from Team Marone. They need to make a little bit of a comeback. A number of different rosters right now kind of in the top 5 conversation. Definitely in the spectrum when it comes into points. Can anybody overtake XQC and Moxie? We'll have to find out as our final 3 games are about to be dove into. However, right after this quick commercial break.
What if I had my own G Fuel flavor? Introducing Cotton Candy G Fuel. Get it now at gfuel.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Minecraft Monday, week number 13, as we're diving in now toward game number 7. We're here for some TNT Run, which is always a blast, no pun intended. The TNT doesn't really actually, blast off, but you never know. Things can happen, and, sometimes we have some upgrades. Regardless, though, it's myself, Landon Sanders on the cast, joined alongside by Taylor Reflections, Noble, and 9-Hole Grains. Guys, it's an intense matchup right now, and one thing that I do want to bring up, and I know Team Rome, Agent more specifically, was alluding to what we're looking at in the future, right? Not just TNT Run, but something of interest that is going to be coming up in game number 9 is that we actually do have a bounty set on good old Technoblade. So to kind of label it out a little bit as we kind of watch our final few competitors here in the first game of TNT Run, the main storyline coming into what will be game 9 is that there was going to be a $15,000 bounty put onto Technoblade. If someone takes him down, they walk away with $15K. If nobody can do so and Technoblade stays alive, he walks away with $15,000. So a lot on the line, a lot to think about. And speaking of Technoblade, right on cue, walks away with the first game. And like we said, maybe trying to prepare for what could be a future difficulty in terms of that bounty.
And I want to say one of the only things that I saw there that Techno did that, because we weren't on his perspective for very much of that, once again using the Lunger to give himself a second chance. He knew he wasn't going to make the jump, so he saved the Lunger for that exact moment, got himself back up into the middle, and really only outlasted Grape Applesauce by maybe 2 or 3 blocks. But again, the Lunger making a big impact here, and the players who were able to utilize that the most cleverly, I think we'll see the benefits. And it's all the more important now that you have it for that very final little exchange, because, again, it can get you to jumps that you couldn't normally get, and I think that's going to very much change the dynamic, maybe even change the strategy for some of these players.
Yeah, I think, too, right? Maybe you think about not being too sparingly. If you have a few blocks around you that may not look too promising, however, no one's around, hey, well, maybe in the future, instead of having such a big gap between the rest of the entire surface, I have the ability, right, to kind of utilize this and maybe start to venture forward. You have to be aware of that cooldown, as Vikkstar currently experiences it right now, as players falling by the wayside, James Charles being one. And like I said, this isn't the same thing as Spleef. For those who are new to Minecraft, you definitely are by no means interested in roaming right next to enemies. You're trying to get as far away as possible and try to grab as much real estate as possible as well. But here we go, Technoblade. We know how talented he can be, guys, when it comes in a TNT Run. Has gone on multiple week runs, and we could be seeing something for him if he can keep up this same level of play.
Transitioning right now to the single hop strat here. Try to get as many of those blocks in the middle away. Again, he does have a lot of real estate. XQC will be able to get over there, I believe. I think he used the Lunger and just missed, so a little bit of a misplay. You do see that Moxie is still up, so that's 2 in the top 7. And Techno actually has a chance to cut off Moxie here if he's able to look up. But again, you never want to look up too long in this. And can Sparkle survive long enough to get the Lunger back? A second chance at life. And does, and misuses it there. Played everything correct. But now we'll see Moxie, the last one, and did not have long either, though it looks like he did have the Lunger. These are going fast, gentlemen. So fast.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And Moxie already being in first place with XQC. That's a good win, to say the least. Techno lasting as long as he did is obviously good, too, given the fact that Wilbur is in 4th place. Now we're going into round 2, and you got to be thinking who's going to end up being at least the top. But overall, though, I got to say, some good rounds. Going super fast. That Lunger, a little bit interesting. I think more entertaining on Spleef, to say the least. But I know there's another power-up down low, and I think it's a super jump.
Yeah, there's a jump boost, and I think there's also a grenade of sorts. So a couple different power-ups there that can really change the dynamic of the game as you go through it. But we'll see right here. People fall fast. And, interesting. Talk to me, guys, about the strategy of maybe using your Lunger earlier to keep yourself on the second layer more instead of saving it for what inevitably might be a very dangerous battle on the bottom.
It's interesting you point that out, right? Because that fall, it seems, down to the water, whatever have you down below, is pretty short. I mean, whenever you fall, you pretty much end very quickly. And the Lunger from Techno being used, and he maybe even was shooting for the second layer, but ended up falling down to the 3rd. But regardless, though, it's a smart play. I think staying up top, specifically where XQC is at, is smart, but you have to be planning out your landing. XQC did just that. He's safe for the time being.
He is for now, right? Just trying to hold on to that real estate, jumping from block to block. XQC Not a crazy amount of experience, right, when it comes into Minecraft, but boy, has he adapted so incredibly well. Raccoon next to Technoblade tries to steal a block, and Techno and him go round for round, but somehow the Blood God is still breathing, running, jumping, and exalting his presence over the entirety of this bottom layer and having some more competition again.
No.
I think he might have run his course, but no, he finds a path. He finds
no
a path.
way.
Can he jump?
Oh,
he does.
The launcher.
Oh! It's like a buzzer beater type opportunity. If it goes in, if he manages to stay alive, we go nuts. But regardless, drop for now, and there we have it. Captain Sparkles will be dropped, and that will be a victory over toward Moxie as these two continue to roll.
Great stuff for Moxie, though. Finishing right in first place 2 in a row. Not bad whatsoever, to say the least. You got to be proud of his performance, and the rich get richer.
They do.
That was TNT Run. We head into Replica. My favorite one, hopefully we switched up a little bit, or were we going to have a smiley face right off the rip? We'll definitely have to see, right? But regardless, though, I do like my Replica. But Landon, talk to me about the scoreboard.
Yeah, like we said, Moxie XQC still very firmly in that first place position, 1,248 points to be exact. Just below them, though, a team who we thought would be in this top 2, top 3 conversation, Captain Sparkles and Vicstar. However, not far below them at all, as you have Nestorio and Ninja, followed up by Wilbur and Technoblade, and Team Rome still holding up that 5th place for right now. We'll see if that can be improved upon, but we look at really 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, just a separation of 30, 40, 50 points, which can totally be elevated and be changed up depending on the game, which we're about to dive into. Replica, which can provide a decent amount of points, especially by how early you're getting these creations done, but the thing is, Moxie XQC, as long as they play consistent, it's going to be so difficult for teams to catch up. As long as they pretty much build up this factor of having at least a 300-point cushion heading into a Hunger Games, they pretty much have got this.
I want to say 2nd through 5th, very, very close. My predictions, very, very close. I think I could be right literally with all 5 placements.
You actually do have a chance here, and that's kind of scary to think about when Taylor's the one getting it. And look at this! Taylor gets it right again. The smiley face starting it out, but this is not a mode where you can sit back and allow the opponents to do as they will. Like you were saying, Landon, lots of points still up for grabs right now as we see who's going to get it. Lots of teams close. Right on our screen, right there, 1 and 2, and look at that, Moxie and XQC 3rd, and that's 5 teams within maybe a whole second of each other.
Get the cheekbones right. There we go. That's going to do it. It's not a whole lot of blocks, but I tell you what, it can be crafty. People get the smile messed up. If you've been playing for a while, I'm sure a lot of these guys have maybe got the muscle memory, still waiting on a few, and I'm hoping that Dolan Dark actually has some help. And looks as if everyone is actually good to go. So everyone completes this. That's impressive, right? Just making sure that everything's good to go. As we've got all victors here, and we'll be looking at this second one, which, what was the second one last week? Do you remember at all? Do we know?
I don't know, but I do know that, wow, Papa Plot sitting there with the on fire right now. But I do know that we did see a second one, like you said, that went later on. I believe we also saw Techno himself up there. I believe we saw one that we thought was maybe Keem. So we'll see if there's any more love.
Volcano.
There we go.
Oh, the order's different, though.
It is different now.
So maybe it is going to be a little bit different.
Redstone right here.
A volcano.
I mean, it could be a volcano. I'm on Taylor's side. I'm on Team Taylor for this one.
Thank you very much. Finally, for once, right? It looks like a volcano because you also have the thing, like the lava spewing up at the top.
Sure, right, yeah.
It's creative. Come on.
I mean, I don't disagree that it's creative. I think it's...
What is art? Art is up to the interpretation of the person looking at it. It has 1,000 different meanings.
It was close enough.
Redstone volcano.
Speaking of art, here's some stats, which has nothing to do with art, but the top 3 teams were once again finishing top 3. They just shuffled themselves about. That time it was Techno who got the win, XQC and Moxie who got 2nd place, and Vicstar and Sparkles in 3rd. So that's great. Trading back and forth rounds here, blow for blow, body shot for body shot. And I think, again, we have all of our teams done. I don't hear any building.
Think we're good? Wow.
Yeah, I
okay.
think so.
We've got some very stacked rosters. Maybe improving from their from the weeks that they've been grinding this one out.
Courage and Ninja continue to go at it.
Oh, now Brooke getting in on it. Okay.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Here we go.
Wow.
The difficult one.
Camouflage.
that what you would label this? What is art? That would be like the little tagline next to it, like what the title of the painting is. Camouflage.
Oh, if this was made by a famous painter, come on, they'd be charging thousands of dollars for that.
Esoteric impressionist art.
Esoteric. See, that's a fun word. I like that word.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Esoteric. You know what that means, Landon? Known to a small group of people.
It's kind of, eye of the beholder, I guess, when it comes to art. Really, I can make my own terminology if I'd like.
What does beholder mean?
What does beholder mean?
I'm joking.
Just say, like, can go on a long spiel about that if you like.
One who beholds.
It's my job
One
to
who
talk.
beholds.
I can go on for a long time.
And
There we
one
go.
time. Yeah. Wilbur and Techno trying to make a late comeback here with Replica as their chief weapon to come back into this one.
To be fair, you get a lot of points.
You do.
Complete all of them.
You do. Unfortunately, Moxie and XQC continue to get second place, so certainly having a difficult time gaining any ground on them. But again, you never really know exactly how many points you can earn here.
Oh.
And a lot of teams did not get any points there, so that's a big deal. Now on round 4. Did we say this one was a tree?
It looks like a
said?
tree.
It's an apple tree. Golden
like
apple
that.
tree.
Okay. It's a fire flower from Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay,
Wow.
there you go.
Spoken like a true caster for Mario.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no? Okay.
Okay.
I got to say, Tyler pointed out a good, Tyler Arrow pointed out a good strategy last week. Maybe having somebody sit back and kind of guide where the block should go versus both of them doing it at the same time. What do you guys think about that?
I think that it's a good enough strategy, but only in the event. I think it works if there's only a certain number of colors, right? Like, I think right here you have, what, 6 colors, maybe 7 that are totally up there. If you get into 8 or 9 different types of blocks, I think then it just becomes way too slow. But speaking of slow, not slow at all, Wilbur and Techno once again finishing first.
Ooh, XQC Moxie actually running a bit short. Where do they mess up at?
So
too much green.
Yep, too much green in the wrong place.
8 seconds. No, they're not going to get it. They just look back at it like, where did we go wrong? No!
Wow.
That's the first one they missed.
It is. And I know that's not exactly going to put a huge dent, but again, that's big. Now we see the snowman once again.
Wait, no, Taylor, what do you think this is first?
That right there is my kind of art. That is abstract beauty right there.
Abstract.
Let me tell you. Because it's like, who wants a perfect smile? You make it uneven, and it kind of makes it like the Mona Lisa, right? It's smiling. That's like the Mona Lisa to me. It keeps you guessing, like, is it really happy?
Wait, hold on. I need to pull a picture of the Mona Lisa really quick.
Hey, listen. That's an accurate representation.
Accurate.
Someone made the Mona Lisa one time out of toast. Isn't that crazy? Burnt toast. They just, like, heated it up to certain degrees, and they made the Mona Lisa. I kid you not.
This is your week for the factoids, Taylor. I love it.
Mona Lisa does kind of smile a little bit. I never really thought about
Right?
that. It's kind of a little smirk.
That's kind of like a little smile.
I think that's a
You
very
know, this
more.
is
that's
not the-
okay,
not
look
the
at this.
Beethoven would
Look at
be
this.
looking at that and saying,
Nine,
yes,
look at
that is
this.
what I meant for Mona Lisa.
Okay, the snowman
one caught
smile
that.
is
That's-
way more happy than Mona Lisa is.
I see the same smirk on the left side of the mouth, or
It's
our left, her
deceptive.
right.
It's deceptive.
It is
Right?
very deceptive.
What do you think about that?
I think the snowman is very happy despite what could be a very short life. I think he's stoked.
Not a comparison I thought I would hear today.
Jack likes chicken farm. What does this mean?
I'm sorry, what?
That was an insult that Ninja threw out. Jack likes chicken farm.
I'm sure it has something to do with maybe their server shenanigans, possibly.
Chicken farm. Chicken parm.
Let's get
Chicken
receipts.
parmesan.
Like chicken parmesan.
I'm sure it has something to do with that exactly, probably.
Who doesn't like chicken
Good
parm?
shout. Good shout.
Okay. So
Oh.
what did we do wrong?
The eye's going to be connected.
Oh,
Yep.
the
well,
actually,
not connected, but you get my point.
is the mouth far enough down too?
Yeah, the mouth was far enough down. It was
Okay.
just that the eyes were a little too high. This face looks handsome. This is Jerome's
It is.
Jerome's icon for those who don't know.
I respect it.
Do indeed. Nearly halfway through the replica course, and pretty much, outside of a few that we've had, it's been somewhat consistent across the board, literally. Everyone's completed it. Everyone's at least had a hand in earning a decent amount of points, so I'm happy with this. I'm happy that a majority of our players are locking this one up and earning as many points as possible, which is always going to be key, no matter where they're at in the position. I know we obviously heavily emphasize top 10. Well, for the guys who are kind of in the maybe on the second page of the card, if you will, they definitely want to try to move up as far as possible. And here we go. Next image, Taylor, instant thought.
A skull. A diamond skull. That's a squid?
I would have
I
gone.
think skull. I think maybe
I think that's a skull.
jellyfish.
That is not a jellyfish.
Look at it.
I went to the zoo yesterday. I saw some jellyfish. That, my friend, is not a jellyfish.
I'm on Taylor's side for this one. I'm going skull here.
It's also not a skull.
That's a skull.
That's got to be a skull.
Well, why does he have blue eyes?
It's diamond eyes.
Okay.
It's diamondized.
So my prediction of saying a jellyfish could not have diamond or blue eyes is not.
Jellyfish don't have eyes. Fun fact.
Okay, I forgot that skulls do. My bad. My fault.
They
forgot that they
eyes
totally have
sockets.
eyes.
Jellyfish actually don't have bones. Nor do they have a brain. I forgot what the second fact. They don't have bones or a brain.
For the next one.
I forgot.
Taylor, you are bringing it today.
The zoo really helped me yesterday for this.
I love it. Oh, man.
I'm actually looking this up. Do jellyfish have brains? Oh, yeah. They don't. Wow.
Did you look it up?
I did.
Don't doubt me.
I'm just making sure. I just
Jellyfish
thought,
do not have bones, and they don't have brains.
well, I knew they didn't have bones.
And some can live forever. Actually, fun fact.
This is horrifying.
This is
what
Mario in a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm good at this game.
That's not.
I'm good at this game. This happens to be my best one, actually.
What is that?
I'm good at this
Actually,
game.
didn't they have this yesterday? Or not yesterday, last week? Because there was one that I know the chat was saying it was a naked mole rat. I saw those yesterday, too. Fun fact, actually.
Oh, and it looks like our players do not have the skin. They do not have the blocks to make the skin.
Well,
we need skin.
We need skin. Something I never thought would be in chat. Well, okay. Well, if no one gets to do it, it's all right. Oh, there it goes.
Who can go fastest?
Wait, they only have like 10 seconds. They only have like 10 seconds. Oh, they did it.
I hope that nobody
Imagine, though. Imagine having, like, the mouth off, and then you actually lay all the blocks out, only to realize the mouth was just a pixel off.
Oh, that would be.
Taylor, what's this?
A camouflaged creeper.
Okay. There you go. Just making sure.
Camouflaged creeper. A creeper with military face paint.
There you go.
Yep.
That's not a bad not a bad shout. That's what the British like to say a lot.
Do they?
Yeah. It's a good shout.
What does that mean?
It's like a good call, you know?
Oh, it's a good call?
Yeah, good call. It's a good call on that one. Good shout.
Shout laundry detergent. That's a good shout.
Wait, didn't Taylor R also say that like a big storm could be called a shout of rain?
Oh, we did actually.
Oh, that's right. I did, yeah. I forgot. That's bringing it way back.
It was like a month ago.
Well, in terms of Minecraft Mondays, we're in week 13.
That's fair.
A shout of rain.
Have we seen any like bad luck happen since it is week 13? I know we talked about that at the beginning of the broadcast. How like, oh, something crazy is going to happen.
Right out the start, 2 people died by
fire.
By fire.
That's true.
That's true.
Some poor replica person did not get their skin.
That's true.
Wait, only one person didn't? That's unfortunate. Well, we are now going into round number 10. What is it going to be? Landon, I'm going to let you say it first. What is it?
Instant reaction.
Okay, I'm ready. Tree. Oh, I mean, sorry about that. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. And it looks as if there's pumpkins hanging in the tree as well.
Pumpkins?
Okay, for the surface area of that tree, you cannot say that's like a regular apple in comparison.
I'm sorry that trees don't grow in an 8x8.
No, hold, let me tell. Landon, there's no such thing as a pumpkin tree.
Oh my gosh, thank you for
They don't
establishing
exist.
that. I appreciate
They don't
it.
exist.
Did you learn that one at the zoo too?
Botanical Gardens, actually.
Let's go St. Louis.
A little bit of everything here in St. Louis, right? We got a zoo. Free, by the way. Free 99. It's great. And then I did not know there was stone there. I guess I didn't pay more too. Nice. Marome, killing it out here. All skins have been found. It seems like everybody's doing it. Nice little tree, though, I will say.
A pumpkin tree.
Pumpkin tree, huh?
I mean, hey, based off of the items that were in it,
gone giant apples.
No, it looks orange, does it not? Does it not look orange? Be honest.
A little bit
Help me out a little bit.
off color orange. Maybe.
That's true.
Thank
Maybe
you.
like a honey crisp instead of a red
9, your
delicious.
turn. 9, your turn.
All right. A chest?
No, a Pokeball.
I think chest, but I don't think Pokeball's a bad shout, you know?
A bad shout.
Not a bad shout.
That's good. By the way, fun factoid that you're going to point out, 9, because I don't remember all the verbiage for it. Pokemon, what was significant that happened recently?
Ash Ketchum finally won a Pokemon League after 22 years.
And
You talk about the ultimate grind. He's been doing that since 1990. Oh gosh, what was it? 99 was when it
and
first
how
got-
old is
Oh
he
yeah, and he's still 10 years old. Remarkable, really.
Mysterious case of Benjamin Button.
Getting younger every year.
Actually, he just stays the same. He's done a lot in a year, I will say. He's done a lot in a year.
It has been a very full year.
It has been a very solid
Considering how many
year.
times he's probably saved the world over the course of the movies as well.
Oh, that's true.
You'd think that at some point he'd know not to bring a Rowlet to fight the fully evolved form of Rowlet Decidui. But
shoot, that seems like
Nope.
an easy mistake to make. I don't know about you. Personally. The last one. Here we are. What do we have? That's a tough one, actually. I don't even know if I can even say something funny. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know. It looks as if something's standing on obviously blocks because it's like diamond and cobblestone.
Okay,
Production thinks it's a pig.
That's fair. A pig with a cloud behind.
it's a pig in the sun.
Sure. Okay.
A baked pig.
So what is that supposed to? Is that supposed to be a cloud?
Yeah.
That's the. You know.
It's a very high mountain.
Well, all the teams have got it here, so a nice little 25-second bit for us. Okay, no,
Everybody
we'll be coming back to the
wins.
studio. Everyone's a winner.
That was riveting content. I got to say, we learned a lot.
We did.
We learned a lot.
We did. We learned a decent amount.
I learned how much you learned. That's.
I learned a lot at the zoo yesterday. I had a good time, actually.
Yeah,
I really did.
I'm glad
I
you
Did you
really
learn
did.
anything else?
Huh?
Did you learn anything else? Is
No.
that too much to ask? I was waiting for just like,
Pretty
oh yeah,
much,
did you
yeah.
know this fact or anything?
I'm trying to think, is there really anything that I learned yesterday other than a jellyfish doesn't have bones and a brain?
How long were you at the zoo?
I was there a long time.
That was the only thing.
We walked 5.5 miles, 13,000 steps. I don't know how many steps in a mile. I forgot. I Googled it yesterday.
That depends how long your steps are.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of like a relative situation regardless. But with that being said, Replica's done. Hunger Games is coming through. And Landon, what else do we got?
Yeah, like so let's go and take a look at the scoreboard very quickly because this is definitely something that everyone wants to be involved with, right? Moxie XQC definitely in a fantastic spot right now in terms of their gameplay. However, you notice the team that does sit just in second place is now Wilbur and Techno, right? This was a roster who was kind of in that 4th, 5th conversation, and now they have risen to second place. A difficult one to try and get over. However, the one thing that would allow for a Wilbur and Technoblade to possibly overcome this would be, you know, the lack of adversity, the ability to catch enemies off guard. So there was something that was thrown into the wrench, or rather, a wrench that was thrown into the mix, if you will, rather. So apparently, Mr. Beast has come out and put a bounty on Technoblade's head for this Hunger Games. So much so that it's like, oh, you know, bounty, that's somewhat interesting. How about a $15,000 bounty for anyone that takes down Technoblade? And if Technoblade wins this game, he walks away with $15,000.
I feel Techno already.
Anybody can take him down.
He already inherently has it bad, right? When people see Techno now, they don't really run away anymore. They kind of engage, right? They try to knock him out early on. $15,000 on the line, yeah, you got to imagine some people are going for your head.
Sure,
so one
yeah.
of two ways this is going to go, right? Techno's going to come out, and he's just going to slay everybody, and all of a sudden he's going to take over first place, and it's just going to totally backfire because at that point, if no one slays, unless Techno slays himself. He knows how to
What
break,
is the rule?
He knows how to break the system.
He's broken every
if
rule
Techno
that we've
slays
had.
Himself.
We have broke.
Does Techno get the
What if he
$15,000?
jumps into lava? Wait, this is
He's
par.
definitely thought about this.
This is par 72 that we're going on. He could throw himself in water.
Oh, man.
What if Wilbur gets him?
He gets
Wilbur
50.
actually asked that. He asked the TNT Run. He's like, what if I take down Techno?
7.5, just split it down the middle. You're good to
Little
go.
collusion.
Ooh,
Techno knows how to break the system. And
this
Techno
is
can
going
do
to be
so right now.
crazy.
This is going to be interesting. So let's pay attention to that elimination feed on the left, right? Let's see if Techno just somehow eliminates himself at the beginning by a trap.
I wonder if he's talked to a few players as well about maybe strategizing, saying, "Hey, if you stay with me, I'll give you a share of that $15,000." I'm sure that there were side conversations. I'm sure there were DMs, Discord messages, whatever you want to throw out there. I'm sure that those have already happened, and I got to say, I cannot wait to see exactly how this forms out. Techno, Blood God, wish you the best. It's gonna be interesting. It's not going to be easy. However, We'll see what he maybe has inbound. And
Look at that. Please, speed 10. Please. Okay, and Lake says you get it for 15 seconds off of spawn so that you can run away. You know, the funniest thing about this is XQC and Moxie are going on what could probably be a victory lap. All eyes are still going to be on Technoblade because of this. We are on his perspective.
Off to the races.
Here we go.
Sorry, what do you get for killing Techno? I don't see it. All right, Bashan. Techno's gone.
Out there. Out of there. What?
10 speed. This is what 10 speed looks like.
Wow.
Something, something, something.
Stone axe. Okay. Okay. I also got a sword.
Need more. Need more.
Where's his teammate at?
Trying to kill him, probably.
You got to imagine. This is, well, he's already got an Ender Pro. He's sitting pretty. Maybe some better armor, obviously. Maybe a little bit of a better weapon for him. But I got to say, I'm pretty surprised. Okay, that's his teammate behind him.
That's still scary, though.
I'm pretty surprised no one has engaged on him because obviously off the start is one of the best ways to do it, right? Because you're going to be, your opponents are going to be kitted up. Maybe, all that well. So, and it's also, too, it's like, do you engage on others? Or do you kind of like save it and all gang up on Techno at the end? Something to think about, but Techno does have a potential victim just down below.
Techno ran away. I think he's going to opt to play this game the way that he always does. You saw tossing some stuff over to Wilbur there. It looks like Wilbur's going to be a good sport about this one, too, and actually play and not try to stab Techno in the back. Maybe that's the thing. Techno turns to Wilbur and says, if I'm about to die, I want it to be you.
That's fair. That's fair. What would be your strategy for the $15,000, Landon?
Sprint at him.
Sprint at him. Off the start, right?
100%.
Wait a minute. Taylor, can you and I enter this event now? Is it too late for us to get in?
Right now?
Yeah. We know where he's hiding.
Something to think about.
Oh, he's shifting too. I mean, this might be the call for them, saying, "Hey, you know what? Let's just." This is it. They have no idea.
No.
It's Pokimane. She has no idea. They just walked over $15,000.
The most violent $15,000 you can imagine.
No. The cat's out of the bag. Fitz is not prepared. However, you got to keep in mind, Techno took quite a bit of damage, but goes back, takes down Fitz. So there we have it. Technoblade stays alive. $15,000 still in the realm of possibility. And we got to talk about, too, Technoblade. He's also fighting for this 15K as well. It's not about, it's just if he dies. No, if he stays alive, he also wins this.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. So clearly that changes up the thing. I was about to say, Fitz came in with Pokimane. Fitz left, went back to the lobby. Pokimane was nowhere to be found. So Techno probably just as confused as we are. Where did Pokimane go? Well, hey, the zone eventually will move in. She's going to have to show herself. But for the time being, it looks as if Techno, he's going to go ahead and dip out with Wilbur. And Techno actually right on to Grande. Grande not even trying to fight. And Wilbur's going to find a victim himself, so that's a team down. And not to mention, they're within top 5.
They are within top 5 right here. I love the idea of a stack of $15,000 in hundreds being handed a sword and said, "Go for it, little buddy." That's exactly what I am imagining right now. We see Nestorio, who was, I believe, in 3rd place, also pushing to try to get 2nd place. That would mean Ninja would have finished 3rd place and then 2nd place in these 2 rounds, or in his 2 Minecraft Mondays since he's come back. But now Techno hiding at a diving board, which seems like a very open spot. Although if nobody has a bow, that diving board might be really difficult to approach. I hadn't even thought of that.
Oh, someone up top. He does have that Ender Pearl if he wants to go for the attack. Also a Gapple in hand, 3 soups, so he's sitting quite well to say the least. And a long drawn-out fight is starting to go down.
Grape Applesauce actually just got XQC.
Yeah, XQC. Moxie's still around. Moxie, the top scorer from last week, still has potential.
Moxie's down too.
Wait, Moxie is down
too?
too?
It said that they, farewell, you almost won. I'm not sure if there's enough elims left on the map for either of these 2 teams to catch them, but we'll see.
Oh, that's rough. That definitely opens the door now because they got eliminated early enough to where 2nd place could, in fact, make things interesting.
They've got to do so much, though, with the bounty on, in this. Here comes one, Wisp. A very talented player who could do this. Courage also realizing how influential this money could be. Techno taking some damage. You see, he tries to switch over to a few other items in his inventory, and this is it. Are they going to do it? Here comes the chase. Wisp. There it is, possibly, but no. Techno actually just utilized a Gapple to escape. Also has the Ender Pearls. Here comes a few members, and he has Wilbur to look out for him. $15,000. It's just in the balance, and Wisp takes down Wilbur. The task is not done. The Blood God is still existent. And there we have it. Technoblade lives to see another day. Another contender swatted down. But look at this. Courage, ever so crafty, just behind the tree, knowing how crazy it would be if he could take down Technoblade, decides to venture out and maybe not go for the engagement just yet.
Yeah, if Courage would have gotten to the mix during that whole 3P opportunity, that would have been the best chance. But to go mano-y-mano, one-on-one right with Techno, pretty much not the way to go about it. Raccoon Eggs is going to find Pokemon. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to out-hide him. Now it's just a question of, right, Techno, he's going to have to 1v2 the entire lobby. We still have 9 teams remaining, 8 teams if you subtract Techno, counting as a team himself. Still plenty of opportunities to gain that $15,000. Everybody, they're hungry for it. Courage, though, obviously hiding, a little bit, just a little bit behind that of Techno, does know where his position is, so maybe he could call his teammate over to maybe go on the attack. But Vicstar, though, he's got to watch out.
My goodness. And Nestorio saying, all right, you all are going for the $15,000. I'm going for second place right now. Nestorio, clearly with the most elims at the time, I believe, is sitting on 5 maybe, somewhere in that neighborhood. And they were not far behind Techno as well. And I believe that Ninja is still up as well. There goes Nestorio with another. Was chasing Vicstar and found Bazinga there. So unfortunate there. I know Bazinga, of course, good friends there. And now Captain Sparkles is coming over to join. So at least a fighting chance against Nestorio, but again, fighting for the medal stand. Right now, XQC and Moxie kind of just get to watch and see exactly what the opponent is doing. Zerka, that is a lot of gear as well. I know that Techno has most of it. Can he get it? No, he's not able to. Does he have any arrows? Can he make this shot?
He definitely could. He puts away the bow and arrow. You got to imagine he doesn't have any arrows in his possession, but he's not going to slow down. Eventually, he's probably going to catch him. But the longer you run, the longer, or at least the more potential of running into other teams is there. Techno is going to have to 1v2 them, but this is his best opportunity. Compass out to try and spot maybe some potential victims. Going to try to find a different angle, but for the time being, looks like Zerka is going to get away. And Techno, he'll live to fight another day. I don't think he was at risk of dying himself, but with that being said, compasses are about to spawn in. I think shortly after that is going to be the zones, but Techno now, 1v2. Let's see if he can get this.
This is Bajan that he's against, Team Marome.
Oh, man.
I think he just got ahead, too, so he gained the HP that he lost back to that.
Oh,
Can
nice
he
snowball.
do it?
Nice snowball to slow him down. Goes in on 1. One's down to 5, 12. And Techno goes down. And Bajan is going to take the $15,000.
Wow. There you have it. 2 guys who we talked about, are in a great position just in terms of the overall standings. Take down Technoblade. And according to the bounty that was put on his head, $15,000 richer. That's fantastic. You see them just pausing, having no worry about the rest of the game, saying, you know what? We just did that. We just did that. Thank you so much, Mr. Beast. Gosh, what an unbelievable play that was. But you know what? It's Technoblade. I think he realized maybe he was out of options.
You see Techno in chat. Okay, Bajan, as you promised, for me throwing it, you got to give me half of the money. Now Techno trying to weasel it in to get some money. Techno, I don't think that's what was planned.
You never know.
Are they seriously going to die to the border after that? Is this the way our heroes die?
Okay, it looks like won $15,000. Do you really?
Man. They were so happy earlier, saying, maybe we can get something done in some of these modes.
Still won.
They won.
Yep.
They somehow found a way to win it, and this is the group that would happen to, right? They would find a way to lose and still win.
to secure 3rd place and still get 1st. Feels good. And I got to say, it feels good that Marome was able to get it, right? Because they have been in literally every single week, minus the week they took a vacation. They're in an engagement themselves, and one's going to actually drop all the way down. That leaves him in a 1v2. Bajan, he's going to go. Jerome's still alive and not for long, right? Mysterio from the top rope comes down, takes him out. And we're just down to our last couple of teams. I believe 5 remaining. Vic, Captain Sparkles being ever so cautious.
Yeah, Vic. Cap Sparkles fiddling around on the outside of the barrier. grabbing some heads and making sure that they're good for what could be their final time for some respite. But there we go. Zerka seeked out and silenced as Ninja and Nestorio continue to go on a run. They are in the hunt for blood. Ninja says, hey, this diamond sword, it fits pretty well. It also hits pretty well also.
He's got 2.
He's got 2, and he's also got an enchanted iron sword. So there you have it, a man of multitudes of different weapons, and he's looking to put them to use as soon as the opportunity begins to arise. And he's got his eyes set on Vikkstar. He's got his eyes set on Captain Sparkles. Here comes the crossover. Here comes the attempt. Players instantly being taken down from the main course of action. And Ninja, an excellent flanking opportunity as that will be a pinch established and an engagement won. But here comes Grape Applesauce. Perfect play utilizing the Ender Pearl. But still, he's got enemies just around him. 4 players left. There's still someone happened to be around the area. But they're going down.
I wish that this was a bigger lobby because Nestorio and Ninja
it's Courage!
are actually
It's
making
Courage!
this really close. Oh, can Ninja get this?
Oh, Courage in the same position he was at E3 for the first ever Fortnite
no.
against Ninja. And Ninja wins it again just like it did at E3.
Nestorio stopped attacking. Nestorio stopped attacking and stopped moving so that Ninja could get that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
You love it.
You know
You
the next
love it.
YouTube video on both of their channels.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I love that. Like, and I assumed at the end, I was hoping like maybe Nestorio will like maybe back up, let him kind of 1v1 engage, but I think Courage knew the demise at the end. You got to give him some props for staying alive that early. He had the opportunity at this moment to maybe go for Technoblade. However, he wanted to hide out. He wanted to kind of venture, but regardless, still, I know we still have to kind of take a quick gander at the scorecard because it was a little bit close. We had Nestorio and Ninja along with obviously Technoblade and Co, who were kind of in that conversation toward the end of things, but did they get it done? Did they hold on enough? We'll have to see, guys.
Got to be thinking, right? Because XQC Moxie, they died very early on, and we know how close, right, 2nd through 5th was to each other. But did that mean, like, at least for Ninja and Nestorio, were they able to close that gap and take over first place? That's something we're going to have to find out when the scoreboard is popped up. But I got to say, a very dominant performance in that last Hunger Games. Ninja showed up, Nestorio showed up, but was it enough to close that gap?
We'll have to find out. Is it good? Yes, it is. Moxie, XQC, 1,530 points as they are your back-to-back champions. An impressive run, but you notice, right, Wilbur, Technoblade, 1,292, Nestorio and Ninja, at the end, really started to progress themselves a very solid amount, right? Not incredibly far behind Moxie and XQC, but they are, in fact, our victors. And I know I think we have Moxie and XQC on the phone. Guys, we talked to you at the beginning of the day. We discussed how, or rather you guys told me how we were going to be having this conversation again. You are, in fact, correct. We're meeting up again, and this time for another awesome type party, right? What does it feel to be like now 2-time and defending champions?
Back to back.
Yep.
Back blockbuster 2-timer. 2-timer. It was amazing. Listen, we predicted it a little bit. We're going hot. Start the day off super strong with a double win.
People might have said we were being cocky, arrogant. No, we were being serious. We weren't kidding.
We knew the whole time.
When
we got that
serious.
second win with the second game mode, we could just feel, we could smell it. It was right on top of my fingertips. We got it.
I love it, guys. Now, talk to me. When it came down to the final game, right, because you guys were firmly in the advantage. I mean, there was no question about that. It was really a matter of, could any teams really catch you? Could any teams really start to overcome a very massive amount of points? Kind of in that final game, were you guys thinking about the bounty that obviously Mr. Beast came out with?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I have a little bit comment about that. Listen. In life, you can't do all of it, right? You got to choose what you do. You got to choose where you invest your time, right? I dropped out of school. I win at games, right? And when I went into the game mode, I didn't read. I forgot to read. I don't like reading it. And when the guy said he was going to get a speed boost, I didn't read it. So I tried to chase him, and I didn't get to him, right? And we split up because we wanted to have the bounty and the win, right? And we both died. We hard through because of no reading. But that's okay. It didn't even matter because it wasn't even close.
That's true. Hey, you still got the W regardless. I mean, that would have been obviously kind of the icing on the cake, but I think that 2-time feels pretty nice at this moment, right? The attributes we talked about, speed, violence, momentum. You guys have it all for the most part, right?
Yeah.
I love to hear it, guys. Now, talk to me really quick because obviously you guys are on, the cusp of a fantastic moment right now, hoping to obviously continue with that one. But what do you guys feel is your best attribute as a team? I know you guys talked about chemistry and communication, but I feel like as well your guys' consistency over different modes is astonishing. But from your guys' point of view, what do you feel as if has kind of led to the point of being now back-to-back champions?
It's the hours. Okay, we put in the time. We do it off stream. We do it on stream. And we put in the time. Okay, we don't play for keeps. We play for wins, and we keep them for sure.
Yeah, sometimes it's like some of these game modes, right? There's certain puzzle effect to them, right? I don't even have to talk to them. We communicate a lot of things in some of those game modes, but in others, I don't even have to talk, right? I do a certain part of the map or a certain part, he does the other, right? He goes to places I know he already went to. He doesn't even talk to me. It's like a telepathy. It's crazy.
Sure, yeah. I think that kind of develops over time. But guys, now we're already in that conversation. You guys are now back-to-back champions. Really quickly,
yeah.
Are we thinking about three-peats? Is that now in the conversation?
It's not even a question.
I love it.
It is not.
It's a statement. It's done. It's done.
I love
Next Monday, we'll see you there, hot and ready, about to pop off, arms out. Go get it, man.
Love
First
it.
place next week.
Love it. Love to hear it, guys. Like I said, massive congratulations to you guys again for now being back-to-back champions.
Yeah.
Hoping for maybe another one next week. We'll have to see. I know you guys are confident in doing so, but like I said, congratulations to you guys and enjoy the W.
Okay, I'd like to take the opportunity to give a big shout out to the people watching at home on any broadcast. Thanks for being here, and a special place in my heart for the Doc Disrespect for just teaching us the ways of how to become a two-timer.
Absolutely, man. Doc, always a living legend, if you will. But like I said, massive congratulations to you guys again. But like we talked about here, obviously, guys here at the studio, we've discussed about this duo, XQC and Moxie, their kind of development as a team. And they kind of called it there at the end, right? Our development as a team, our work off-stream, on-stream. That's where they really kind of get it done at. And I know XQC, I mean, he has not played Minecraft for nearly as long as some of these other guys, yet he is probably considered to be one of the best players in Minecraft Monday for guys who've been playing for almost a decade now.
Well, you heard, right? They practice on stream. They practice off stream to the point where they have their communication down point to where it's just, at that point, just telepathy, right? They just make it work and they make it happen. They have been making it work, and I got to say, they continue to come back week after week, and they improve week after week.
Yeah.
Now I want to know these solo scores, right? Because Moxie was in first place last week, but taking over is going to be Mysterio in first at 993. But look at Moxie once again, ahead of Techno. That's the second week in a row.
Yes, this, if I'm not mistaken, this is the lowest score that Techno has gotten in quite a while, and there's a lot of factors that go into that, certainly, but I have to wager that going into that last game, Nestorio was behind Moxie, went on an absolute tear. I think Ninja got maybe 2 of the elims that were there, so Nestorio absolutely living up to the billing. Last week, it was Wisp that really made the big plays, and you see Wisp there with 5th place, certainly still making the plays, but Nestorio living up to the billing and all the hype. But, gentlemen, Moxie, XQC, the consistency, 2nd and 6th place. And, guys, they won the first game. They never lost the lead. It was never even close after that first game.
Wasn't it the same last week?
I think it may have been. Yeah, well, they were tied. They were tied, I believe, after 2 games or 3 games. So it was a little closer. But this time, having one shot early on, I think got the ball rolling for them. And I don't know if we had another team in the 30 elim range at that point at one shot. I think they were the only ones that were above 30, much less getting to 40. They gave them so much of a big lead. And at that point, they just had to play okay. But they played better than okay.
Yeah, they did, right? They were consistent in almost every single game that we threw at them, right? We have a lot of different game modes that obviously come about. It requires a lot of different skill about the game. The way, I mean, obviously, like, you mean pressing buttons, the ability to know exactly which blocks you have to place down when looking, obviously at a screen that exists just in front of you. They have so many different little aspects about their team that just makes them oh so dominant. But boy, do they supersede expectations. Boy, do they kind of rise to the occasion, if you will, when it comes into PvP modes. That really is kind of their bread and butter. And like I said, kind of happened to be that way when it came down to one shot, as you called it, 9, and also in that first Hunger Games. They kind of got out to a hot start, and that's what it is really about this team. It's about the momentum, the swing that they're on right now. One of the many attributes that Dr. Disrespect brings up is momentum, and it rather is, in fact. So I'm looking for them to maybe carry it forward. And like I said, I got to think, third week, maybe like I said, 3 times in a row. That'd be one heck of a story if they could do that.
Absolutely would be, right? Think about their rise through the ranks, through the weeks, right? Now they're here, and they are the champions. It is solidified. But week 13, come on. A great week, one of the best weeks, right?
Yep.
We talk about it. A good week in terms of predictions overall. I listed my top 5. The only one that I got right in the top 5 was XQC and Moxie. Okay, they got first. Everybody else I was wrong about. But regardless, they were all there. All 5 teams were in my prediction. And I got to say, what a great week. It's wins all around. Marone winning $15,000. XQC, Moxie getting first or second in a row. And me getting all my predictions right. It couldn't be a better week. What about you, 9?
Good luck following that one up there.
I can't at all. I've been completely beaten by you this week, Taylor. So I will just say it was a good week. A handshake here.
I don't like doing handshakes on stream.
It's all right. It's all right. But great week. You are stone-faced right now. Goodness gracious. But no,
Taylor
this was seriously.
in the future at his future predictions. It was just like, oh gosh, better soak in the glory
Next
now.
week's gonna be even better.
Oh, already predicting it. But seriously, like you were saying, a very fun week. So many fun storylines. The addition of Lunger into both Spleef and TNT Run I thought was a great addition, adding some much-needed dynamism to those game modes. But again, now the conversation, the three-peat for everything that Techno has done, and he has done a lot. He's not three-peated.
That's true.
They might be the first.
It could be. And when it comes down to the greatest team of all time, Technoblade has won with a multitude of different squad mates. So this could be, a roster who, if they were to win 3 in a row, I don't think there's really a conversation in terms of who is the best duo, or rather the best team together in terms of a long span. But they're definitely kind of in conversation for it. But what a week. Like I said, I mean, you were kind of calling out to what a week that we had. I think the game modes were fantastic. I think that the action was really just that even better. But we have to give a massive congratulations to XQC and Moxie, right, as they are your back-to-back champions, and you got to give them a lot of credit for doing so, right? Their ability to grind as a team has been absolutely staggering. And now the question remains, one of the big storylines is, can they make it 3 in a row? That would definitely be something that would be hopefully enamored by the entire Minecraft audience, and especially here in Minecraft Monday would definitely be another chapter in the story that has been such a wonderful series. But guys, we are going to go ahead and finally say goodbye. We appreciate everyone who has been involved with Minecraft Monday for today, whether you joined us early, you joined us later, if you're just spamming some good old XQC emojis and everything in the chat right now, emotes, apologies for that one. But we want to give a massive thank you to you guys for always being involved. If you'd like, you can feel free to follow us on social media at UMG Gaming on Twitter, as well as on our website at UMG Gaming. Massive congratulations to the boys again, and a huge thank you, right, from the entire team here at the UMG studio. For them, the entire crew, for 9 Whole Grains and Taylor Reflections Noble, this is Landon Lano Sanders signing off for the final time, saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.